And go big. The Ultimate Series is available, get this, 98 inches. The perfect size.
So every seat's a great seat, not just the people in the middle. If you can't be in the stadium, TCL Ultimate Series is the next best seat, available at all major retailers.
TCL, the official TV partner of the NFL, here for Super Bowl 60.
Hey, it's Grant Napear from my friends at DAS Mechanical. Did you know most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric? It's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more money every month on energy bills. If your current heating and air system is 15 years or older, it may be time to consider a change. Call DAS Mechanical first. Nearly all of DAS's work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. Nick and his team, they're experts. They also have 0% financing and 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned. It's DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Save more on your energy bills. Call, text, or chat at 530-591-1055 to find out more, or go to dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's. G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrud's.com.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580, or go to elitepower.com.
The team at Downtown Ford Sacramento wishes you a phenomenal 2026. And what better way to ring in the new year than to treat yourself to a new or pre-owned Ford car or truck? See, the new year means we got to get rid of all these 2025 vehicles to make room for the new 2026 ones. So now's the time to get a crazy deal on a 2025 Ford that is still brand new. And we've got an awesome finance team here, always ready to help you get into the vehicle you want. And look, if you've had your eye on a Ford car or truck, but you're not yet ready to get into a brand new one just yet, odds are we've got a gently used version of that same car or truck right here on site for substantially less. Once you got your Ford, our top-notch service department will keep it running like it's brand new for as long as you own it. With more than 100 years of service to Sacramento, we're Downtown Ford on Howe Avenue next to the How About Arden Shopping Center. DowntownFordSacramento.com.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento. Hello, Sacramento. Sacktown. And welcome in.
Grant Napear.
How you been? You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
Well, the National Football League, yesterday we referred it to as Black Monday, and we could also just extend that to a Black Tuesday. Not a good day for a lot of coaches, particularly John Harbaugh, the second longest tenured coach in the NFL behind Mike Tomlin. So if that field goal by Loop is good, does that mean Harbaugh is back no matter what happens in the playoffs? The magnitude of that missed kick, I mean, right now looks enormous in the loss to Pittsburgh on Sunday night. Also, a lot of coordinators fired today around the National Football League, and you have to wonder if there will be more coming here in the coming days. So the NFL, with the playoffs beginning this weekend, the 49ers, of course, on the road taking on Philadelphia. I mean, I still don't like the matchup here. I don't know how the Niners defense is going to get off the field. I think it's going to be a real issue. I think time of possession is going to be a real key in this game. And unless San Francisco is a +1 or 2 in the turnover margin, I think they could be one and done. Now, I think offensively, depending on who's on the field, they should be okay, not great. All right? But, I mean, if Trent Williams does not play, and I got to believe that he won't, I'm just going by hamstring injuries and his size and his position, I just think that's a real issue for the 49ers. I mean, think about the magnitude of that loss on Saturday night. You go from being a number 1 seed in a week off to going on the road to take on Philadelphia, who's not a great team this year, but they are healthy right now. I mean, you think about this. The Philadelphia Eagles last year won the Super Bowl, right? Do you know they're the only team in the National Football League this year to repeat as division champs? Think about that. They are the only team this year to repeat as division champs. Now, you could also say, well, that division stinks, blah, blah, blah. But they still did it. They're still the defending champs. They have a big time or a big game quarterback in Jalen Hurts. We know about Barkley's threat to break it at any moment. We look at the Niners defense the last couple of weeks. Phillip Rivers able to move the ball up and down the field. Caleb Williams and the Bears up and down the field all game. Seattle dominating possession, being able to run the ball for 180 yards. So think about what the 49ers are up against. Think about it. They do a cross-country trip after losing a huge game, so they got to get over that. Now, maybe they already have. You know, they've been down this road before. In other words, they are a very seasoned playoff team. They are a very seasoned playoff team. But this is a quick turnaround. It's a quick turnaround. And when I mean quick turnaround, I know they played on Saturday night, but emotionally, all right? Emotionally, they are not, I would think, where they would want to be for a game of this magnitude. I'd be a little concerned if I'm a 49ers fan. I'd be a little concerned. Now, would I be shocked if the 49ers go into Philadelphia and win? No, I would not be shocked. But I would be surprised. I would be surprised. I really would. I'd be surprised. How would I not be surprised? I think when I'm looking at everything with this game and all the injuries on defense, I don't like the matchup here. I'm sorry. I don't know if I would like the matchup currently with their roster against a couple of teams in the NFC, and one of them is Philadelphia. The other would be the Rams. The other would be the team we just saw, Seattle. I wouldn't pick them to win these games. I'm telling you right now, I'm not picking them to win the game. I'm picking Philadelphia to win. They're rested. They didn't play anybody on Sunday. They have a big-time quarterback in Jalen Hurts. He always seems to get the job done in big games. I mean, I just don't like this matchup right now. I don't. Now, if you disagree, I'd love to hear from you. I really would, because if you think the Niners are going to win, I want to hear why you think that. 916-779-0929. Give me a call, 916-779-0929. Text the show, call the show. What gives you confidence if you are a fan of the San Francisco 49ers? Seriously, why would you be confident? Based on what? Because what? If they're healthy, I would pick San Francisco straight up. But they're not. And we'll wait later in the week for the final injury report. But I would not be too optimistic if I'm a fan of the 49ers. And listen, we talk about this every year. The NFL week to week. And you can have all the momentum of the world, and then all of a sudden you're like, what happened? Same with the Rams. Look at what the Rams had up in Seattle. They're up big. They're up 36-20, right? They look like they've got the game in their hand. Sam Darnold throws an interception inside the 10-yard line, under 9 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Rams get the ball back, up 2 scores and two-point conversions. All they got to do is make a first down or two. Take a lot of time, take 3 to 5 minutes off the clock, and the game's over. What happens? They go 3 and out. They punt the ball. Seattle returns it for a touchdown. Now it's an 8-point game. Seattle gets the ball back. You know, we saw the wacky 2-point conversion. Then they're able to score and get another 2-point conversion. And before you know it, the game is tied. The place is in a frenzy, and Seattle wins in overtime. Or else we'd be talking about the Rams being a number 1 seed. So are they going to be able to bounce back? You know, they didn't look really good in their final couple of games after the Seattle game. And now, yeah, they should win, but they have to go all the way across the country to take on Carolina. I mean, if you look at that game and you look at the teams on paper, you would clearly say, you know, the Rams are going to win. Obviously, they're a big favorite. But it's crazy what happens in the NFL. It's crazy what happens week to week in the NFL. So, your thoughts, 916, all right? 916-779-0929. What do you think about John Harbaugh being no longer the coach of the Baltimore Ravens? What do you think? Do you think it was time? Do you think they need a new voice? Go in a different direction? And where will John Harbaugh land next? Because you know he's going to get another job, and there are a lot of openings. There are a lot of openings. Where do you think he ends up? Your thoughts, 916-779-0929. Kings and Mavs tonight. The injury report on Keegan Murray, a moderate ankle sprain, going to be out several weeks. It's really been a lost season for Keegan, beginning in training camp, the preseason, the thumb surgery. He came back. He really didn't play well. You know, offensively, he has not played well. It's been a lost season. I think you're just going to chalk up this season to a lost season for Keegan Murray. That game is a late game tonight, 8 o'clock, which means a late postgame show over on YouTube and X if you don't like that. We won't be on roughly until about 10:15, 10:30 tonight. So it is definitely going to be a late night. All right, let's get to some phone calls, and we say hello to Mac. Mac, good to have you on the show. You're my leadoff man on this Tuesday. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. You just asked the question of what might I be optimistic and what for the 49ers, and I'd like to please answer that question. One thing I think, after watching the Seattle game, one thing I and then watching other games is, yes, the loss of Ricky Pearsall, it hurts, and you can see Kittle is hurt, so nobody was going downfield on Saturday. If Kyle Shanahan, let's say Pearsall can't go, having and Kyle Shanahan can use Sky Moore to spread the field, I really feel that kind of helps with the running game, because it forces the safeties to back off the line of the scrimmage a little bit. So that would help the offense a little bit more. And I know that losing Tatum Bethune, which is a huge loss, and now you're down to your third Mike linebacker. But I thought but Bethune's been missed a couple games already, and Eric Kendricks I thought he played a little bit better than Bethune on Saturday, and he had good angles. He's a veteran, so he understands how to communicate to the defense. So I think that's okay. And I think, that kind of gives me some optimism. And the fact that the 49ers against Seattle, they bent a lot, but they didn't break. I think that gives me some optimism with the game. Do I think that they're the favorites? No. But do I think it's a lost cause? I don't. I think that they do have an opportunity to win this game, and that's just my opinion.
Okay, well, they obviously have an opportunity. I mean, I'm not saying they don't have an opportunity. I'm not saying they don't have an opportunity, but I mean, I don't like this matchup right now without even looking at the injury report. The Niners are not healthy. They're taking on a team that is healthy, and I really look at matchups when I look at games. The ability for Philadelphia to run the ball with a multi-dimensional attack because of Hurts' running ability with Barkley and that offensive line against a banged-up defense for the 49ers. I just don't like the matchup.
I agree, but and the only way that the Niners can counter that is by outpossessing the Eagles. And I think on Saturday we really saw the value of Ricky Pearsall. And Ricky Pearsall, man, the problem is that guy is always hurt. And Kittle, if you give him more than 10 targets, he'll end up getting an ankle and stuff like that. And also he has to stay back because they need help on pass protection because Trent Williams is out. So that's where I'm thinking if Ricky Pearsall can play, I think they'll be in a little bit in business. Or if Kyle Shanahan decides to use Sky Moore, which I don't understand, he doesn't. He's very speedy. If they can find a way to back those safeties up, I think they can possess the ball and be more methodical on the offense. And
here's the other aspect I don't like in this game. The 49ers don't get to the quarterback. They're the worst team in the NFL in sacks. They don't get there.
Correct.
This is just not a good matchup for them right now. And again, I'm not saying they can't win. It's not a good matchup. It's just not.
No. And anyway, I hope you have a good afternoon. And also, before I go off, and I'll take this off the air, with the Sacramento Athletics having their trademark taken by the last.
Not the Sacramento Athletics, the Las Vegas Athletics.
Well, not getting the patent for Vegas
I understand.
Or Las Vegas. Who's a bigger? Who looks worse, more incompetent, Vivek or John Fisher? Just as an owner, after today. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank you. It's not even close. Okay, I mean, you can bash John Fisher all you want. His level of success as a team is much better than Vivek. It's not even close. I mean, if you really want to be objective about this, it's not close. Let's get to Jim in Sacramento. Hi, Jim. Jim, are you there? Hello, Jim. Not there. Seriously, if you look at the A's had a lot of good years under John Fisher. You know, high 90s, playoff games. You know, they didn't advance. All right. They didn't win the playoff series. But I mean, think about it. The A's have been very competitive for a lot of the years that John Fisher owned the A's. The Kings had one playoff since Vivek bought the team, and they've been really bad in almost all the other years. I mean, I don't even think you can compare it. From the 209, I'll be honest, Grant, I'm a Niners fan, but I'll be shocked if they pull off a win on Sunday. The defense is too hurt to keep up the Eagles, but them just making the playoffs, losing Warner and Bosa, Purdy and Kittle for so many games, it's a win in my book. Did not expect them to be in the position after all of these injuries. It was a good season if it ends Sunday. I agree with you. I agree with you. I really do. Spot on. Hey, I want to talk to you about Village Financial Group. Their broker owner, Spencer, I've known for 25 years. I've talked a lot about Village Financial Group and this family-owned business. Whether it's a home equity line of credit, buying a home, selling a home, Spence is very creative. All right? He's a financing specialist. And remember, he has access to private money. So again, buying a home, selling a home equity line of credit, whatever you need, experience, specialist, trust, it's all there with Spence. Give him a call or text him at 916-805-4868. And be sure and ask about the investor special. That's 916-805-4868. You go online, vfgloans.com. You will find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Don't forget, 4 o'clock, Chuck Cooperstein, the voice of the Dallas Mavericks. 5 o'clock, after Grant's Ranch, Sean Salisbury. Plus your phone calls right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
We are looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouthwatering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
The new year is here, a fresh opportunity to tell people about your products and services so they know who to spend their money with. Fox Sports Radio has a Mount Rushmore of sports talk talent. Patrick, Cowherd, Gottlieb, and Sacramento's own Grant Napear, and they have an audience you can take to the bank. This is Fox Sports General Manager Kurt Bagelman. Sports Talk listeners are a unique, target-rich group of consumers. They're employed, they earn six-figure incomes, 2/3 own their own homes, and they listen to the radio longer. Let me repeat that. They listen longer, so your commercial message has more opportunity to be heard. It costs nothing to learn how a good strategy and a great schedule could help your business. So call me, 916-779-0914. 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
I've talked a lot about this, and I'm going to talk about it again because earlier today, I was really giving thought to all of the years that I've been in Sacramento, and I've watched a lot of bad situations as it pertains to the Kings. My first year of watching the Kings in person was 1987 at the Arco 1. And then the following year, I became the TV voice of the Kings and was in that position until 2020. And so I've watched a lot. I've seen a lot of coaches come and go. I've seen a lot of players come and go, general managers, owners. I've been through a lot. So I try to compare different situations with different players. And I was thinking about Malik Monk earlier today. And of all of the years that I have been in Sacramento covering the Kings, I don't know if I've ever seen a player more mismanaged, dealt completely, in my opinion, unfairly, completely misused, and thrown to the curb the way the Kings have done to Malik Monk. Now, we talk about this all the time on our postgame show. Jerry Reynolds doesn't understand it. I'll ask Ryan in a couple of moments. He doesn't seem to understand it. I also think they've done the exact same thing to Keon Ellis. I think that they have taken Keon Ellis and they've messed him up so much, and they've taken a player that was playing very well, not only over a couple of weeks, but a span of 2 seasons, and they have completely mismanaged him and I think screwed up his career. I really mean that. Now, I'm not making Keon Ellis out to be a starter on every team in the NBA. I'm not making him out to be better than he is. I'm just talking about what I've seen in comparing those 2 players to players of the past. Malik was in the running for 6th man of the year. Then the Kings made him a starter. Then they brought him off the bench. And then this team, which has been so poorly constructed by Scott Perry, that I don't even know where to start. I mean, Scott Perry gets an F this year, maybe a D because of Max Reynaud. All right? So far, if I'm going to grade him so far in year number 1, it's not very good. Dennis Schroeder, bad signing. Russell Westbrook makes no sense. Horrible signing because you don't get a chance to play the other players that I'm talking about. And Devin Carter, your first-round pick from last year, we don't know if he can play or not because there's no room for him. All right? You have 8 wins, and you're playing Russell Westbrook sometimes 40 minutes a night. Stupidity. Okay? It made no sense the day they signed him. I said so, and it makes less sense today on January 6th. Stupid. You gave away Valanciunas. Precious Achiuwa looks like a good pickup. But, I mean, if I'm going to judge Scott Perry so far, I'm not giving him a very good grade. But I'm going to give him 3 years because I think that is fair. I'm giving Doug Christie an F. I don't think he should be the coach. He shouldn't have gotten the job in the first place. He's out of place. He's not ready. He's not an NBA head coach. And it's very apparent. And if you go on all of the chat sites and you look at all of the chatter, across Sacramento, I think it's in the majority of how people feel about Doug being a head coach. He's not a head coach. He shouldn't be a head coach, and he is out of place, period. Okay? And I'm very well aware of all the injuries and the makeshift lineups, but the rotations of the players that he does have available make no sense. His substitutions make no sense. His in-game adjustments make no sense. There's nothing going on to me that makes sense. But if I'm going to talk about Malik Monk, just him alone, the mismanagement of Malik Monk has been mystifying to me. Monk is one of your best players, period. I don't even think that's debatable. Okay? He's one of your best players, period. And as one of the best players, he should be playing. And he's young. He's not old. He's 27. He's not 37. He's 27. He's not 32 like Dennis Schroeder. He's 27. He's not 36 like DeMar DeRozan. He's 27. You get my point? Again, I'm thinking of all of the decades that I've watched Kings basketball, and I've seen a lot of players mismanaged. I've seen a lot of players sent to the bench to rot and go to other venues, other teams, other franchises, and have success. But as far as this guy with his talent and his love for the community and the fact that the fans love him and all the other things that go along with Malik Monk, this is an absolute disgrace. And the Kings should be ashamed of themselves for the way they've treated Monk. They should be ashamed of themselves. This is flat out wrong. There's no justification for it. You know, if the Kings were winning, I wouldn't be able to make an argument because the name of the game is to go out and win. That's what you play professional sports for. So if that were the case, I'd have to shut up. But they have the worst record in the league. They have the worst point differential in the conference. They're an absolute embarrassment. And now you're going to make Malik Monk to be the scapegoat as one of the examples of what's wrong with the team? No. Malik Monk's one of the what's right about the team, not what's wrong with the team. It's a joke. They tried to ship him off in the summer. They didn't do it. Then we heard all the rumors in training camp. Didn't do it. The guy never once complained, never bickered, never was unprofessional. You know, he's been a model professional. And he's good. And he provides something that your team's not very good at. And he doesn't play. And you basically humiliate him. It's wrong. It's flat out wrong. Rhino, we talk about this almost every single postgame show. It is mystifying to me.
Yeah, I think if I had one question for Scott Perry, it would be, how do you define youth movement? What is young? Because you said Malik Monk's 27, Keon Ellis is 25. To your point about the handling of Malik, I can only come to two answers. He's not part of the future in Scott Perry's eyes because of what you said. They were looking to deal him over the summer for Kuminga, reportedly. Or it's a situation where the Kings feel, based off of talks that they've had with other front offices, that he might be the most valuable chip right now in terms of return that the Kings could get in draft compensation. And that's why you're not playing him. I understand that. But to go about it the way that they have, to have Malik go on the record and say he was very caught off guard by it and was just told by Doug Christie that he was going to try something new, which has now extended through how many games? 6, 7, 8 games? Yep. It just shows how utterly backwards this thing has played out up until this point where this team is 8 and 28, 29.
And Devin Carter, who no one really knows can play. And I heard you and Jerry the other night when I was off Sunday night. He thinks that Devin needs a good 25-game run where he knows he's going to play. You know, don't worry, you're going to play. You're going to play every night. You're going to play these amount of minutes, go out and play, see what we can do. Now, there is still time for that, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon to me.
No, and it's a 25-game run that's not just needed for the Kings to know what Devin can do. It's for the rest of the league to see what Devin can do as well, because certainly the Kings are open to dealing with pretty much anybody on the roster, with the exception of probably Keegan, because he just signed. So you need to know what you have. Maybe you have something that's a little bit more there. Maybe you don't, but you got to figure it out one way or the other. And Devin legitimately has not been given that chance since his rookie year. He's not been given it. And on a team like this, what are we waiting for? Like I said, if this continues past the trade deadline, Grant, that's where I am going to get. And I think this is probably where the fan base will sour. If you continue to see the rotations in the minutes.
This fan base already is souring.
No, but Grant, this fan base has been, when the games are close, the Kings go on runs, the Kings win. This fan base is thirsty just even for that win, for that effort. It gets national run where people are saying, dang, the Kings fans deserve better. So they're still showing up. I think you will see a distinct difference if you see the same type of rotations past the deadline.
Well, I think the arena is going to become more and more empty with each passing game. And we're going to find out this month because most of the games are at home. And I don't think it's going to be a pretty sight because I have a lot of folks that I'm seeing online and friends, those that I know, and again, people online I don't know that have said they're not going anymore. So we'll see. And that's going to be a bad look for this franchise because the one thing that we've always had for the most part is fan attendance. Why would you go watch this team right now? Seriously.
Yeah.
Why would you watch them?
You have a favorite
Why would you watch them?
Okay. Let's throw out both sides of the argument. Grant, if you are the Kings ownership right now, what's your pitch for a fan to come in and watch a game?
The other team that you're playing.
See, I would say Russell Westbrook.
There is no reason to watch the Kings play. I mean, other than Max Reno.
Okay. Max Reno. I would say Russell Westbrook has passed numerous historical records, set a record as the highest scoring point guard in the history of the league. DeMar DeRozan.
So what? Do you think Kings fans care about that?
Grant, it doesn't matter what Kings fans think about that. It's what the ownership is thinking and selling. I think that's the mindset right now. And whether that's trickling down to Doug and heavy minutes resulting in it for Russell Westbrook, for DeMar DeRozan, who knows? Only Doug and the ownership knows that. But I think that is what is in their heads. This is just my intuition, my read on the situation. If I'm a Kings fan, or let me ask you, if you're a Kings fan, what's the reason you would want to go see a game right now?
Maybe to watch the Max Reno play. That's it. I wouldn't watching Russell Westbrook. That record has no relevance to his Sacramento at all. Zero. I mean, 99% of that was done before he got to Sacramento. Listen, I'm not anti-Russell Westbrook. You know how I feel about the guy. I love the way he competes. He's a professional. I like the way he approaches his job. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but he shouldn't be on the Kings. Made no sense from day one. It doesn't make any sense now. It was a stupid signing by Scott Perry. Plain and simple, it was dumb. It made no sense. There's no way you should have Russell Westbrook on this team. It does not add to the development. It does not help the future of your team. It's just it retards the growth of your younger players. You have a mess with Malik Monk and Keon Ellis. You can't get Devin Carter on the floor. You signed Dennis Schroeder to be your starting point guard. He's now on the bench. I mean, there's nothing about it that makes sense. You can't get Nick Clifford on the floor for 20 minutes. I mean, there's nothing about it that makes sense.
Except what I just said. You're right. Everything you said is right. Scott Perry said that Russ has, and we're not going to get into the 6 principles, but to have Russ around the younger guys, it's invaluable. And I will tell you, Russ has been the consummate professional. My perception of him before coming to Sacramento, since having the opportunity to speak with him, watch him practice, etc., has been a complete 360. And I appreciate what he's poured in. But to your point, yes, it backs things up. It's just a problem that you already had. And the far argument was, well, maybe Russ can guard a couple of positions, which he has. But I don't think any of us expected to see these types of minutes. But when I'm looking at a team that outside of usually the second unit and Max Reno is flat, and I would throw Keegan in there while he's been healthy, you have energy sitting right there on your bench. That's what the Kings fans want to see. They want to see the young players. They don't, yes, you care if you win or you lose, but at this point, I think most hardcore Kings fans know the score. So what's next? What do we have to look forward to? And that's the end of the bench. You're going to set yourself up, like we said on the post-game show a couple of nights ago, to have this start to roll into next season where you're testing the minutes for other guys into a new season, which is nuts.
I think this is the most dysfunctional franchise in the NBA, and I think it's one of the most dysfunctional franchises in all of professional sports. And I think that this year is illustration A of how not to run your franchise with everything that you've done. It's just an absolute joke. It's just there is no other way to say it. It is as bad as it gets. Hey, what is not bad is DAS Mechanical. And I've talked about homeowners starting to change their heating and air systems from gas to all electric. And that's where DAS Mechanical comes in, because you want to become more energy efficient and save a lot more money every month on your energy bills. If your current heating and air system is 15 years or older, you know what? It may be time to consider a change. Call DAS Mechanical first. Nearly all of DAS's work is gas to electric whole system changeouts. Nick Delancey and his team, they're experts. They specialize in this. And they also provide 0% interest. That's right, 0% financing. They also have 24/7 availability if you ever have a heating emergency. Award-winning, locally owned, family-owned DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors. Just go online to dasmechanical.org. D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. You can schedule everything online. Look at all of their 5-star reviews and their numerous best of the best awards. That's D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. Remember, Chuck Cooperstein, the voice of the Mavs at 4 o'clock, Sean Salisbury, 5 o'clock, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Hi, it's Margot from Bennett's Restaurants. Looking for the best happy hour in town? Head to Bennett's, where every day from 2 to 6, you'll find flavor, fun, and serious value. Enjoy over 10 wines by the glass, country club-style cocktails like lemon drops, skinny margaritas, and crave-worthy share plates. Short rib tacos, chicken wings, calamari, and more, starting at just $6. It's upscale without the uptight. 3 locations, Roseville, Rockland, and Sacramento. Join us today or check out the menu at bennettsrestaurants.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's. G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrud's.com.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Remember, always be generous with the nutmeg. Just eyeball it.
Okay.
Mom's wisdom has served you well, but now it may be your turn to guide her.
Hey, I'm worried about Mom. She keeps forgetting her famous sweet potato pie recipe.
Some things come with age, sis.
And some don't.
Knowing the early signs of Alzheimer's in a loved one will help you make the best decisions for your family. Visit 10signs.org to learn the signs. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The voice of the Dallas Mavericks, Chuck Cooperstein, in the next segment to lead off hour number 2, Kings and Mavs tonight at 8 o'clock. I don't think you're going to see a great crowd tonight. 916-779-0929. Again, the number is 916-779-0929, and we say hello to Dorian. Dorian, Happy New Year. How are you?
Grant, Rhino, Happy New Year, guys. Hope you guys had an amazing Christmas and New Year. But these 8 o'clock starts, man, they suck, man. They're terrible, especially for people that go to sleep early like I do. I mean, it's like, man, like the game starts at 8:10, 8:15. You know, that's when it's tip off, and it's like you don't even really get to watch the game. It's pretty dumb.
Imagine if you wanted to watch it on the East Coast or the Central Time Zone.
I know, man.
No, I'm serious.
I
It's
know,
it's
talking-
stupid.
Yeah.
Like if you're in Dallas,
It's
if you're a big Mavs fan, the game starts at 10 o'clock tonight. I mean, it's asinine.
Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, I think we got it good over here living on the West Coast. I feel for the East Coast people. I mean, though they're diehards over there. You know, they're up late watching their favorite sports teams. That's pretty cool. Grant, you know, and I've been a Kings fan since, I don't know, 1999, 2000. I was, 7 years old. And I can't even tell you, Grant, the last 5 teams that the Kings have played, this is the most disengaged I've been in all my life. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm an adult now and I got other stuff going on. But, like, it's really unfortunate what's going on with the season. I mean, I didn't really have high expectations, you know, at the start of the season. You know, I thought the Kings were going to win 40 games and possibly be a play-in team. But with 8 wins and what's going on with this franchise, with how they're handling Malik Monk, obviously Max Reynaud has been pretty cool to see. I really wish that Nick Clifford would with the amount. I mean, he's not getting that much minutes, but he's had the opportunity at least to really showcase his talent. I think he hasn't really stepped up to what Kings fans thought he could be, or I don't know what's kind of going on with him, with his confidence level or whatever. But this is the most disengaged I've been in my whole life, and I'm a lifelong Kings fan. I have a Kings tattoo, and it's a shame, like what's going on with this franchise. I mean, you know, 3 years ago, the Kings were their darlings of the NBA. You know, they took the Warriors to 7 games, and I really thought that the franchise was now that had hit that turning point where the Kings were going to be good again. And you go from 50 wins to 48 wins to 46 wins to now, like it's terrible, man. Like what's going on, and it's really unfortunate. It's pretty frustrating.
It's very frustrating, and I think a lot of people feel the way you do. They're not really keeping up with the team as much. I notice it, you know, on this radio show. I notice it on various internet sites. I notice it really on our post-game show at times, although we've been pretty consistent with that. But, I mean, it's not the way it was when they were, as you said, 3 years ago, and they were 48 wins. I mean, we had a couple of shows where we had over 30,000 combined people watching, which is unbelievable.
Totally.
So, I mean, yeah, fans are fed up, and they don't see a lot of hope. And right now, they're not willing to invest their money and time like they have in the past.
Yeah, of course. And sorry, I misspoke. I said 50, 40, and 46, but 48, 46, and 40 the last 3 years. And it sucks as a lifelong Kings fan, man. It's like, I don't know. I know what needs to change, and that's ownership. And I don't foresee that, you know, happening anytime soon. But it's really kind of upsetting with what's going on with how Malik Monk is being managed. I don't really think that Doug Christie is coaching his team how he wants to. Doug is way too smart of a basketball player. He has way too smart of an IQ to be making these decisions in his rotations. I just don't really understand. I don't really.
Well, my
think that Doug Christie is coaching
my experience is just because you were this as a certain player, it doesn't translate into that as a coach. I've seen many examples, and I've been around a lot of coaches where their basketball stature as a player did not translate into a coach, and they were lost. So I don't think one necessarily has to do with another. I think it helps, but I've seen too many. I've been around too many where I'm like, geez, like it did. One has nothing to do with the other. That's my experience.
I totally understand that, but I really believe that this isn't the Doug Christie that we all expected to be making these decisions as far as rotations go, as far as the allocation of minutes. I mean, if the storyline was, okay, the Kings aren't going to be very good this season, but we're going to fill up seats by having Westbrook play, by having DeRozan play. I mean, you haven't had Sabonis, you haven't had Keegan Murray very much. You don't have Zach LaVine. I mean, there comes a point now where their fans aren't even going anymore. So it's like, why are you playing these guys? That they're veterans. They're not the future of the Kings. Why don't you play the young guys? I don't really understand why that's going on. And I don't think that Doug Christie really believes in what he's doing. I don't really understand that. I understand where you're coming from, from a player to be a coach and vice versa.
All right, well, let me put yourself in Doug's shoes for a moment. Doug is beloved by most of the people in the community. He was part of really the only good time that the Kings had here in Sacramento in terms of achievement on the floor. Nobody could ever debate his love for the community and his love for the team. So we all agree on that. Why would Doug, assuming that he's not making these decisions, why would he want to tarnish his legacy here, which is what he's going to do, and it's already started? I mean, I see all the comments online, fire Doug, Doug needs to go. I don't think he should be the coach. I mean, I don't think he should have been given the coach. I've been consistent from day one. Why would Doug allow that to happen? Why would he allow it? I mean, if Doug's truly not coaching the team the way he wants, my question would be why? Why would you do this to yourself? It doesn't make sense to me. So I think Doug is making these moves pretty much on his own.
And that's why, and at the beginning of the season, Grant, I called multiple times. I was like, this is not going to end up good for Doug. I totally had that same question. It's like, this is your time to shine. This is your time to possibly turn this franchise around and be the savior. And you go out and you only have 8 wins, and you're probably not going to be the coach of the Kings next year. There's no way after the season.
There's no way.
I just don't get it.
I mean,
no way.
Listen,
I don't get it.
Dorian, all right, that I've been consistent about this from day one. And I was the first one to say so, that Doug Christie would be the head coach of the Sacramento Kings the day after they got eliminated by the Dallas Mavericks in the play-in game. When Sham Sharani of ESPN was the first one to report Scott Perry. And I said, Scott Perry is going to take the job because he's on his last hurrah. Why not? He needs a job. I would do the same thing. He is given the edict that Doug is your coach. He wasn't going to hire Doug as his coach. If Vivek Ranadive had said, go out and hire whomever you want to be your coach, there's not a chance in the world that he would have hired Doug Christie. There's no chance. So you have a general manager who doesn't want the present coach. When I say doesn't want, the point I'm trying to make is he wouldn't have hired him. You have a coach that if he lost his job today or had lost his job after the loss to Dallas in the play-in, would have not received an interview by one team in the league to be their coach. Not one team would have interviewed Doug Christie to be their coach. You had a general manager who wouldn't have hired him as a coach. This is just an absolute circus. There is no way in the world that Doug Christie can be the coach of the Kings next year. There's no way.
Unfortunately, Doug is becoming a villain in Sacramento now just because of what's going on. It sucks because, he's a Kings legend in my eyes, just like you and Jerry and so many other people. And I hope that Kings legends stay away from the team for however long this franchise is not relevant, is not good, because it's a shame that these guys their legacy is being tarnished,
Well, here's another response from, the YouTube channel. Anyone with a working brain can see Christie is just a puppet for Perry and Vivek. My proof is if he wasn't, he would have been fired after 15 games this year. I don't know if that's proof, but I understand the point you're making. It's just, again, Dorian, we go back to the word is dysfunction.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. One thing I'm looking forward to, Grant, is I'll be in New York for the Kings Knicks. I hope I get to see Jalen Brunson play. He's one of my favorite players.
What's the date on that game? It's this month, right?
That'll be, January 27th, or January 28th, I believe. It's on Tuesday, but I'm excited to, be around your area where you grew up. And, hang out at MSG, man, and hopefully I'll call in when I get to before I get to the game.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you're going to be able to experience that. Madison Square Garden is a magical place. Boy, the Knicks got embarrassed last night, and the New York papers are destroying them. And I'm going to talk about this in a moment. Dorian, thank you very much.
Thanks, Grant. Love you guys. Love you, Ryan.
Love you, man. So James Dolan, the maligned owner of the Knicks, went on the all-sports station in New York yesterday, WFAN radio. And before the Kings played the Pistons, basically gave an edict talking about, why they didn't put the NBA Cup banner up. He said, we are going to hang a banner up, but it's going to be a championship banner. And this team, needs to be in the finals and win. And that's where we are going to be this year. And he talked about Tom Thibodeau and why he didn't come back as coach. So he was given the edict about this team needs to be in the NBA finals this year and we need to hang a banner. And then they go out and they get embarrassed in Motown by the Detroit Pistons. I mean, they got destroyed. They got absolutely destroyed. Pistons ran up and down at will on them. It was the worst loss of the year for the Knicks, hours after their owner went on WFAN radio in New York to talk about this has got to be a team that goes to the NBA Finals.
That game had some extra meaning, though, to the Pistons.
Of course it did. They got eliminated by the Knicks in the playoffs last year. But, I mean, it's the fact that it had extra meaning doesn't mean it had less meaning for the Knicks. I mean, it does. That doesn't excuse losing by, 31 points or whatever it was. Right?
No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
And a guy that's very unhappy in New York who came right out after the game and said it is Karl Anthony Towns. Karl Anthony Towns has been a shell of himself this year, and he blames it on the new system that Mike Brown has implemented. It doesn't fit Karl Anthony Towns. If you look at the Knicks' success last year, Ryan, and a big part of it was Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, he was voted All-NBA, one of the teams. And he, outside of a couple bad playoff performances, had one of his best years. Revival.
When you talk about bad performance, that's not what you get at Village Financial Group. You get an outstanding performance because their broker owner, Spencer Grimmenstein, is superbly experienced at what he does. He is a financing specialist. He's unbelievably creative, and he has access to private money. That's right. Village Financial Group, a family-owned business since 2000. Spencer is your man. He's awesome. Call or text him at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. And be sure and ask for the investor special. Buying a home, selling a home, home equity line of credit. Again, call them, text them, 916-805-4868. And if you're looking for properties, well, you're going to find over 9,000 if you go to their website, VFGloans.com. That's VFGloans.com. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Don't forget Chuck Cooperstein in a couple of moments. Sean Salisbury right after Grant's Rant at 5 o'clock. We got the college football semifinals coming up this week. What do you think? Who's going to win? Who's going to be in the national championship game? Who's going to be left standing after the semifinals? We'll talk about that with Sean. And we will get to hour number 2 and my conversation with the great voice of the Mavs, Chuck Cooperstein. That's next here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580, or go to elitepower.com.
Life is best enjoyed when you feel most energetic. Of course, as we get older, the energy part gets a little more complex, and then weird stuff can start to occur, like brain fog, low energy, not feeling motivated to do things, a loss of your libido, or ED. If you've experienced any or all of these things, it could be something as simple as your testosterone levels, and that can be safely treated. Sacramento Naturopathic Medical Center is offering a free healthy aging consultation with Dr. Dennis Godby. Dr. Godby specializes in healthy aging and is an accomplished author. And this vibrant and energetic doctor, at nearly 70 years young, has literally walked across the United States on foot to promote quality health care. So when it comes to feeling younger, it could be said that this doctor literally walks the talk. Schedule your free healthy aging consultation with Dr. Godby now at gettingbetternow.com. Gettingbetternow.com. Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort is all about keeping you comfortable at home. And when your sewer system backs up or the toilet suddenly won't flush, that's not comfortable. Sierra Pacific's expert plumbers are always ready to deal with household plumbing emergencies. We'll come out and solve the problem, no problem. Expert plumbing service anytime at SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
You took the first step and quit smoking. But even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284 CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
Hour number 2, we are trying to effort a connection with Chuck Cooperstein. We hope to do so momentarily. Kings and Mavs tonight. 8 o'clock. The late start, I think most of us agree, we do not like. But again, it could be worse. You could be on the East Coast trying to watch these 8 o'clock starts. That would be rather challenging, would it not? That would be rather challenging. The Mavs, along with Sacramento, have certainly struggled this year. We'll talk about that in a moment. But it is an absolute pleasure to welcome to the program a guy that I have probably missed as much as any on the circuit, the longtime radio voice of the Dallas Mavericks, Chuck Cooperstein. Chuck, how are you, buddy?
Grant, I'm doing great, and I imagine you might be doing great too because John Harbaugh might be your new coach.
Yeah, the Giants need about 10 John Harbaughs on their sideline. So can you arrange that for me?
Well,
so,
that I can't. They're not necessarily lacking in talent, but they do have a long way to go.
They certainly do. So, Chuck, I'm relaying this story on a show last month or the month before about being at Bowling Green, and I want to say it was 1980, maybe 1981. My roommate is from Philadelphia. He's a diehard Flyers fan. I'm a diehard Rangers fan. The Rangers are playing the Flyers in the playoffs. And back then, the only way we could get the scores was calling Sports Phone in New York, 212-976-1313. And so I relayed the story about calling that every couple of minutes, and then the horror that I got when I got my phone bill. So I had a caller from New York call up and go, wow, you talk about Chuck Cooperstein a lot. Chuck was on Sports Phone. I go, no way. So here we are. Did you do Sports Phone for a period of time in your career?
I did, from January of 1982 to August of 1984. But basically, wow. I guess I didn't start on the New York system right away, because the way it worked, it was a company called Phone Programs, and we were at 919 3rd Avenue, and we had a New York line, a New Jersey line, and a Buffalo line, and then there were offices also in Chicago and Detroit. But I started out on the Buffalo line and moved myself up, and probably about 6-8 months into it, I was doing New York, and that's pretty much where I was until I moved to Dallas in 1984.
Wow, love it. History from Chuck Cooperstein, the voice of the Mavs. Before I talk to you about the Mavs,
so I didn't give you that bad news when the Flyers beat the Rangers.
You're an absolute beauty. So before we talk about the Mavs, obviously with the NFL regular season in the books, the Cowboys, listen, we all know Jerry Jones is a magician when it comes to money and marketing for the NFL, but he's been a terrible owner. All you got to do is look at the Cowboys' playoff wins since their last Super Bowl. I mean, I'm a Yankees fan, and it's kind of similar to the lack of success that the Yankees have had since 2009, but you got to go much further back than that if you're a Cowboys fan. What's the pulse of the Dallas Cowboys fan right now?
I mean, they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, really. And it's Groundhog Day. It's the same thing every year. I mean, in fairness now, Mike McCarthy had 3 consecutive 12-win seasons.
Yep.
But they got to the playoff game and they didn't perform. And that's basically what it is. I mean, they're waiting for this team to win a divisional round game and at least get to the NFC Championship game. And they're certainly not convinced, and they have every reason to not be convinced that Jerry and Steven and the structure that they have in place is capable of getting the team to where everybody wants them to be. But the bottom line is, Grant's not going to change, until Jerry and Steven are no longer involved with the franchise. And even then, who knows what happens from there. If, another one of the family members decides that they're going to get themselves involved. It's a hard situation, because at least last year they went 7-10, and Dak missed half the season. This year they go 7-9-1, and Dak plays the entire season and was great. I mean, really was top 5 MVP.
He had his best year.
Great. He was phenomenal, and they weren't close. And so again, Matt Eberflus is fired today. They'll have 4 defensive coordinators in 4 years, and they're going to have to do something, just structurally different from anything that they've really done in over a decade. And, they have 2 first-round picks, and that's all well and good, but they're going to have to go into free agency, and they're going to have to spend. They're going to have to get people who actually know how to play NFL football at edge, as a linebacker, and really in the secondary at cornerback, because they have no cornerbacks right now that are really worth anything. So it's going to be really interesting to watch them, when they get to March and you get to free agency, and see how they play this, because they have been absolutely risk averse when it comes to the actual free agency. Now, they made a great trade for George Pickens. What are they going to do with him? They made I think a great trade to get Quinton Williams. That will help them. The Parsons trade was a disaster, but
plain and simple.
They're spinning their wheel. They're spinning their wheels. I mean, that's really where they are right now. And people are. But I think on one hand they're sick and tired of them, and on the other hand they can't wait to go out and watch them play on television. So that's. How do you solve the problem? I don't know.
Chuck Cooperstein, the voice of the Mavs. Let's make the transition over to the Mavs. You know, here in Sacramento, most Kings fans would tell you that not only do they not see light at the end of the tunnel, they don't see the tunnel. You're talking about a Mavs team and the transition that is still ongoing from the big trade a year ago. Is Cooper Flagg giving the fan base hope for the future? Is he going to be, from what you've seen, the real deal?
I think he is, and he has given the franchise hope, and he's given the fans hope. But unlike Luka, he is not a show. And that's what set Luka apart from everybody, that he could do all the things that he did, and he did it in a way that made you drop your jaw.
Mm-hmm.
Flagg is not quite that way. But he's incredibly mature, and he plays like a guy who's been in the league 10 years. And let's face it, I mean, with all due respect to Luka, and as much as I love watching Luka play and watch him every chance I can, I mean, Cooper Flagg is far more advanced on the defensive end of the floor and understanding defensive concepts than I think Luka ever was. I think Luka is a better team defender than people give him credit for, but I don't think he has ever been at the level that Cooper Flagg is right now as an 18-year-old. And, you know, who does he compare to? I mean, look, you know, there's a lot of Pippen in his game. There's a lot of Kirilenko in his game. Pick your great two-way guys, who could do it all. And he really is that guy. The only thing that's lacking right now is his three-point shooting. And I think that, they'll work on that in the off season, and try to get the mechanics of that fixed. I think it's you'll see, even if you're watching closely tonight, how his three-point shot really has a lot of side spin to it, and there's not a lot of backspin. It comes out of his hands really funny, and I think they're going to have to work on that in the summertime. And I think he'll certainly put in the work to be able to do that. But the fact that he shoots really good free throws, as everybody says, seems to believe this. There is a theory that, if you're a good free throw shooter, you're a good 3-point shooter. Frankly, Grant, I've never bought into that.
Yeah.
I think they're two entirely different motions.
Yeah.
They're entirely different motions. But the kid works so hard, and he's got such an incredibly high basketball IQ already for 19 years old.
And Koopy's 8. Koopy's a kid. He's a kid. He's a teenager, for crying out loud. I mean, everything you just said, and then I look at his age, it's unbelievable to me.
Yeah, he just turned 19 back on December 21st. So he'll figure it out, and it's going to happen sooner rather than later. And so from that standpoint, I think people are excited because they know that they've done the hardest thing, which is to find a truly great all-star caliber player and an all-NBA caliber player.
I experienced a couple of years when Jason Williams was the point guard of Sacramento, and he was so different, and he would leave you on the edge of your seat. It was almost like when Wayne Gretzky had the puck in hockey. You never dared turn your head when he was on the ice. And it was the same way with Jay Will. You've been blessed to, be doing the Mavs since, 2004, 2005, 6, right around in there. So what are we talking about, 20 years or so? So you've seen a lot of great players. But to be the voice of a team that had Luka, I mean, that had to be magical for you, correct?
Look, I had 14 years of Dirk. I had 6.5 years of Luka, and now I've got Flagg. Okay, so this is my 21st season.
Okay.
I've never not had that guy, right? I mean, there are people who do this and have done it a lot longer than I've done it, who've never had that player.
Correct.
So I am extraordinarily fortunate, and I thank my lucky stars every day that whether the Mavericks are playing in the NBA Finals or they're doing what they're doing right now and trying to figure out who's who and what's what, I've always had that guy that I can watch. And listen, we're not even talking about Kyrie Irving, who's been out for 10 months now, and he's that guy too, right? I mean, you never know what you're going to see with him when he's on the floor because he's so unpredictable in how he can finish as a little guy at 6'2". And hopefully we're going to be able to see that at some point, whether that's, this year or next year, because I have no idea when he's coming back. But bottom line, I'm extraordinarily fortunate that I've always had that guy. And I do believe that Cooper Flagg is going to be that guy, and he's going to be that guy sooner rather than later.
Gut feeling, Anthony Davis on the squad after the trade deadline?
I think he's here. I think he's here until the summer, at least. If it happens, it happens. But I think it's the way the NBA is set up now. It's really difficult to move those types of contracts, and especially when the agent, from all reports, is asking for a major extension for his client to go into effect not even next year, but for the year after, for the 27-28 season. And at that point, he'll be 34 years old. And given his injury history, and I know a couple of years ago he played 76 games, but his injury history generally suggests he's not going to play that many games. And are you going to be willing to commit that much money to a player who doesn't play that much? And that's, listen, that's the conundrum that everybody has, whether it's the Mavericks or if he ultimately is traded someplace that they're going to have to figure out.
Chuck, here in Sacramento, fans want the Kings basically to lose every game because they know their only hope is to do what the Mavs just did and hopefully get a franchise type of a player in Cooper Flagg via the lottery. If you took a poll of the Mavs fans right now, 13 up, 23 down, 2.5 games out of the play-in spot at number 10, what would the majority of fans want this year for the Mavs?
They would like to see Sacramento beat the Mavericks tonight. and then the Mavericks lose a whole bunch of other games.
Okay.
Because the Mavericks control their pick this year, and then they don't have control of their pick for the next 4 years. So in 2027, that pick is top 2 protected. That was the PJ Washington trade.
Right.
In 28, it's a pick swap with Oklahoma City that allowed them to acquire Daniel Gafford from Washington. And so, you can't really argue those because it got them to the finals. I mean, it got them 3 wins from a championship. But now they're paying the piper on the other end. 29, they have either Brooklyn or Houston or the Lakers or Houston's pick, depending on how things work out. And then in 30, it's a pick swap with San Antonio from the Grant Williams signing back in 2024 too. So it's 4 years without control of your pick is a long time. And so they know that this year they've got to be able to nail it. And the draft looks like it's going to be exceptional. I mean, this draft this year turned out to be exceptional at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks
Yes.
like next year's is going to be as good, if not better. And certainly through the first 10 picks, it looks pretty deep right now. So I think Maverick fans would like to see, a running buddy, a real running buddy for Cooper Flagg on his timeline that can then, figure out what the future of the franchise can
Sure.
be. At least it puts them on that path. So I think that's what they're looking at. But as you know, Grant, having done this forever, the players who are out there on the floor, they don't worry about stuff like that.
No, they don't care.
And frankly, the coaches, even they really don't worry about it either. Like they can manipulate some things as far as minutes and whatnot, but overall, coaches are trying to win. And it's the general managers that have to figure out, what's and the owner to figure out what's ultimately best for the franchise. And of course, the Mavericks don't have a full-time general manager now. They have
Right.
2 interim general managers, and what is that dynamic as it relates to now? What happens in the next 4 weeks before the trade deadline, and certainly what happens afterward as they move toward April and May and the lot
Yeah.
and the draft at the end of June.
And Coop, final thing for you. The other aspect of all of this, I mean, if you just look at what's going on in San Antonio, their development and their youth and how young they are, and you look at Oklahoma City, who is got a lot of youth on their team and are stacked with assets and draft picks, you better get a running mate for Cooper just to stay up with the Joneses, so to speak, or you're in real trouble in this conference right now.
Absolutely. In San Antonio, still they have more picks too that they're going to be able to use. But obviously they got extremely lucky in the lottery. Even this year moving up, and getting number 2. And I must tell you that on lottery night, when it came down to the Mavericks, who had never moved up in the history of the lottery, and the Spurs, who've done nothing but move up in the history of the lottery, I wasn't feeling very good about the odds of the Mavericks ultimately winning and getting Cooper Flagg. But, fortunately they did. But Dylan Harper's been tremendous for San Antonio. Just as Stephon Castle's the 4th pick last year, won Rookie of the Year, and Wembanyama speaks for himself. So, they're in really good shape. And you're right. I mean, look, the Mavericks are going to have to nail this pick regardless of where it is. And obviously, the higher you pick, the better chance you have of finding that right guy.
Appreciate you, miss you, and always good to catch up with you, my friend. You take care, safe travels, and hopefully we can have you on in the not-too-distant future.
Same to you, Grant. Take care.
That's the great voice of the Dallas Mavericks, Chuck Cooperstein. Does a fabulous job for the Mavs. Speaking of fabulous job, that's DAS Mechanical. Nick Delancey, their owner, really had a nice chance to get to know him and the business model. And after speaking with him, it's very apparent to me why they have won so many awards and have just multiple 5-star reviews. I mean, just go to their website, dasmechanical.org. You can check it out for yourself. HVAC retrofit and service specialist. They also do new systems. But again, retrofitting your HVAC system, and they're specialists at service. They're serving Sacramento and Placer counties. Family owned and operated. Ideal for homeowners, businesses, for commercial maintenance. And should you need a new system, should you need financing, there are many options available, including 0% interest for 18 months. Check everything out online, dasmechanical.org. That's D as in dog, A-S as in Sam, mechanical.org. Remember, you can schedule everything online. And again, check out all of their 5-star reviews and their numerous Best of the Best awards. That's dasmechanical.org for all of your HVAC retrofit and service needs, new systems. They do it all. dasmechanical.org. We'll come back. We'll open up the phone lines. We'll read some text messages at 916-779-0929 right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
We are Fox. Call the good dudes at Gebruds. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gebruds. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gebrud and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gebruds does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gebruds, expert 5-star service and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gebruds.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gebruds, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gebruds. G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gebruds.com.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Sean Salisbury at 5 o'clock, right after Grant's rant. Lots going on in the world of football. Interesting comments from Chuck regarding the Dallas Cowboys. Not that I'm surprised. What a mess. Seriously, to have that kind of capital to work with. And I know the NFL is a different animal because of the hard cap and there's no local TV. So the pie is split 32 different ways with the TV money, and that's your big money. So it's a different animal, so to speak, regarding like how you build a team. Like, for instance, in the NBA, you can say anything you want about the aprons and everything else. If you are the Los Angeles Lakers, with the amount of money that you make in radio, in TV, okay, or the Knicks, you have a huge advantage over a market like Sacramento. That's just the reality of the situation, and you can't argue that. It's just now that doesn't mean you can't be successful as a small market. I mean, look at Oklahoma City and Indiana; they were in the NBA Finals last year. But it's just the way it is. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929 if you want to get in on the program. Grant, how confident are you the Kings make a move by the trade deadline? I think I'm very confident that they will make a move or two before the trade deadline. Now, to what degree? Hey, generally, the rumors that you hear never come true. The deals that occur are the deals that you're not thinking about and don't hear. So I would put that at about 80%. Ryan, would you put a percentage on that question? How confident are you the Kings make a move by a trade deadline? If you're going to put a percentage on it, what would you put? What would you say? 50-50, 75-25? Where are you going?
If we're defining it as a move?
As a move.
Yeah, I would say 75-25.
I mean, I think it's at least 75% chance. What do you think of a big move, which would mean DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, put Malik Monk in there, Sabonis in there, although I don't think that's going to happen. Then what are we talking about? You think it's 50-50?
Yeah. I'm going to say, and I'm going to throw Sabonis out. If we limit it down to two players, Malik Monk and Zach LaVine, I would go 60-40.
60-40? Okay. What about the pressure on this organization to make a move? And I want to talk about that because they had pressure to make a move last year with De'Aaron Fox. And I think we can all admit that in hindsight, it was premature and they would have been much better off waiting until the summertime.
Well, I think it's going to be the first real test of who's making some of these decisions, or if anybody else is having input on the decision, because as we pretty clearly know, Vivek had his hands all over the De'Aaron Fox trade. That was not Monty McMahon. So if it's, let's say a Trae Young coming in here, I'm going to think Vivek. That seems nothing like Scott Perry. But
what does seem like Scott Perry? Seriously.
I thought Scott was incredibly genuine draft night. That was the first time to me that I'm like, you know what? Okay, I see what you're thinking of. And then he followed it up on draft night 2 or the second night for the second round and made just as good of a prudent pick that fell in line with everything he outlined on night 1. Two guys that were experienced, and you've seen that play out for Max. Hopefully it also plays out with Neek. Outside of that, I don't know. He wants to, I guess, can we make this assumption, Grant, that Scott Perry is big on bringing in guys that he feels like can rub off on the younger players? Because you see that with Schroeder and you see that with Westbrook, or at least we've clearly heard that about Westbrook.
I think that is so overblown when you normally have former players on the coaching staff that are very, very good. And on this particular team, you already have veterans that have been highly successful and multi-time all-stars in DeMar DeRozan and Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah.
So bringing in what Russell Westbrook isn't, in my opinion, going to do anything differently than what you already have. Not to mention, in a guy that doesn't play very much, Doug McDermott, who is a consummate professional,
Amen.
who the players look up to immensely, who is very well revered in that locker room, and we don't even talk about him.
Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head about him. He doesn't play he's only played a handful of times, and he is ready to go. He knows his role, and the guys get him the ball. Good job by Doug. That's the best example you can have in front of you right there.
So the makeup of this team, we keep on waiting for the monumental shift. You think that started about 2 weeks ago, but then we always talked about, well, what happens when Zach LaVine comes back? Well, we saw Zach LaVine come back the other night, and he played 35 minutes, and we saw no minutes for Malik, only a handful of minutes for Keon, although, he had the thumb.
Right.
And then Nick Clifford didn't even play 20 minutes.
Right. And Zach came off the bench, which Doug Christie came to him and said he was going to bring him off the bench. We'll see if that continues tonight. But yeah, I think the shift again, we've got to judge this thing. And overall, we know that it's been a disaster and it's not going to turn out well, which hopefully will benefit the Kings when it comes to the ping pong balls. But to make a hard judgment, I think we've got to wait till the trade deadline. The rubber's going to meet the road, trade or not, when we see what that rotation looks like past the deadline.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, can we acknowledge that? It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think that right now, I mean, if you're going to look at this, the fans are going to be really upset. Okay? You know it and I know it. If this team, goes on a run where they win 4 out of 6 games in the April and March, they're going to be livid if they see their odds in the lottery shift a little bit. You know it and I know it.
You know what? My response is it's part of being a Sacramento Kings fan. They don't tank. They never have.
No,
they
never have.
Guys. They don't do rest management. So it's
and look
part
at the
of
Mavs. Look at what happened with the Mavs last year. They got the luck of this lottery, you only have a 14% chance of getting the number 1 pick if you're first, second, third, or fourth worst. So that's not a great percentage.
You almost don't want the number 1 pick. Serious.
You're right.
If you do the math, I think the number 1 pick or the person with or the team that was supposed to get the number 1 pick, I don't think it's happened. I think it's only happened one time in the last, I want to say 3 or 4 years.
From the 937, granted, I happened to catch Snoop Dogg's commentary on the Warriors game on NBC while Kerr was getting ejected. Horrible. No, and I wouldn't even watch 1 second of it. I don't watch gimmicks. I don't watch nonsense. I don't want anything to do with that. So the answer to your question is no, I did not. From the 916, food for thought from Folsom Mike. Could the first ever starting lineup beat this current team? I argue Reggie would be the difference, especially in this era. Check it out. I'll check it out when I can. Interesting. All right. Again, if you want to get in on the program, give me a call. 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. And why don't we get to Joe in Sacramento? Joe, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm a suffering Raiders fan. I was just curious. I know they fired the coach. And every year they say they got to get the right coach, but they never seem to get the right coach. Is it the owner, management?
Yes,
or just
it is the owner. Start
bad?
right with Mark Davis. You have the worst owner in the National Football League.
But now Brady's there. You think he might? I guess supposedly he's going to pick the new quarterback, or supposedly, I don't know.
Well, we'll see. Just because Tom Brady was a great quarterback doesn't mean that he would be tremendous in a front office role. So there have been a lot of former players that have tried their, knack at working for NFL front offices, and they haven't done very well. So I don't think one has anything to do with the other, although his knowledge of the position and what he would like would be an advantage, but that still doesn't mean you're going to get the right person.
Correct. I don't know. They just go through the coaches it seems like they just keep every year, same thing. They want a new coach. I don't
Well, the other
understand why they
aspect
can't.
of that division now, you have a changing of the guard a little bit with the Chiefs not being at the top, but you have a Denver team that looks like that they're going to be good for the foreseeable future. And I would say the same thing with the Chargers. You know, it's a very difficult division. Although, again, in the NFL, we see different divisional winners every year. You know that Philadelphia was the only repeat divisional winner in the NFL this year?
No, I did not realize
Yeah.
that.
I mean, you can go from bad to good. Well, look at the Patriots and the Jaguars. They were four-win teams last year. Look at them this year. So, I mean, you can turn it around in a hurry in the NFL. But the Raiders, boy, they have a lot of areas of need.
I'm sure you saw this stat. I was really surprised. The New York Jets did not have one interception the whole year.
It's unbelievable. It's never happened before. First
I
time
can't
in the
believe
history of
that
the
even
NFL.
happened. That doesn't even make. I don't see how that happens.
It's it's almost impossible. I mean, even Hail Marys, things of that nature, which are normally intercepted. Think about that. Think about going 17 games in any level of football. I don't care if you're talking about Pee-wee and 8-year-olds, junior high, high school, college. Can you imagine going and playing 17 games and not having one interception? That's almost impossible. Well, it's never happened before.
Because when I first heard it, I'm going, yeah, it's got to be fake. But no, it's true. Anyway, thank you, Grant. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. Tough being a Raider fan. Tough being a Kings fan. Tough being an A's fan. You know, I get another question. What does that mean for the A's being denied the A's knockdown in the judicial system? Well, not the judicial. Well, I don't even know what the hell it is. I don't know what would be the proper term there, Rhino. A trademark, right? Like what would be the proper
trademark
verbiage? The trademark. Okay. So it's the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office.
Correct.
All right. That is the office that denied the A's request to trademark the names Las Vegas Athletics and Vegas Athletics. It was denied. So I'm not really sure what that means on the big scale. Does that mean that they are 100% going to have a new name when they go to Vegas?
No. So they can appeal first and foremost, and you got to look at some of the reasons they were denied. The team's currently not playing there.
Okay.
It's a vague name, athletics. Think about that across the board, because athletics can be construed in many different ways. So they'll get it done. This is just one of those things that probably was not done the correct way by the Athletics.
Well, this team, have you looked at the construction site lately in Vegas? I mean, they are really moving along there.
I have not. No.
Yeah, they really are. And everything's in place. I know there are still those in Sacramento that think it's not going to happen. It's happening. It's going to happen. Now, could it be prolonged for a year? I guess it could. But like those that are holding out hope that, things are going to change and the A's are going to, I've said from day one, there's no way they're staying in Sacramento. That's not happening.
Do you think, so you have another year of A's baseball here. Do you think SAC would get the third year? Because there was a lot of concerns headed into last year and a lot of complaints too.
I wouldn't rule anything out when it comes to John Fisher and baseball in Sacramento. I wouldn't rule anything out.
Okay.
Right? Could you? I mean, I don't think you can rule anything out, can you?
No. And Vivek too. It's a good deal for Vivek because you are filling up the hotel in Doco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course it is.
So yeah, no, I think that field can only improve. A lot of the complaints came around the pitching mound. So
yes,
you can't control the heat, but I got to think that that land or the grounds crew, they did everything they could to keep that field with as many games going on in it as well as they did. But again, it's an adjustment for a major league player to go from the facilities they go to, Grant. You probably know this more than anybody, to a facility like that. It's much different.
Night and day. Hey, I want to talk to you about Village Financial Group. when it comes to real estate? Are you in the market in 2026 to buy a home? Are you looking to maybe move? You're going to sell your home? How about a home equity line of credit? Well, Village Financial Group and their broker owner, Spencer, 25 years now, going on 26 since he began his family-owned business. He is awesome, experienced. Yes, you can trust him. I've known him for 25 years, and he is a financing specialist. He is very creative, and he has access to private money. Remember this number, 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. Text Spence, call Spence. He is going to do a phenomenal job for you. 916-805-4868. Also, check out their website, vfgloans.com, and you'll find over 9,000 properties available for purchase. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Don't forget Grant's Rant at 5 o'clock, Sean Salisbury after that, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Tired of the same old routine? Need a place where the beer flows and the good times roll? Then head to Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Family owned and operated, so you know you'll feel right at home. Catch all your favorite games on 18 big screens while enjoying amazing food. And with 28 beers on tap, you're sure to find something you love. And don't miss everyday happy hour from 3 to 7 and again from 10 till close. Looking for more than just the game? Trivia Tuesday starts at 7 p.m. And there's Mario Kart and bingo nights for even more fun, too. There's always a blast happening at Fieldhouse. Whether you're looking for a place to watch the game, grab a bite with the family, or just unwind with friends, Fieldhouse is the place to be. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, 1833 Fulton Avenue. Bring it to the house.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrude Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrude's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrude's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrude's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrude's, locally owned for more than 30 years. Gubruds.
Call the good dudes at Gabruds. Gubruds. Gabruds.com.
If you can't remember the last time you had your home heating system inspected, it's probably time. Right now, Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort is offering a $79 complete heating and air system inspection. We'll check your entire system, clean it up, and make sure it's running perfectly. Call or visit us online today and schedule your $79 winter system inspection at SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air, the guys in the big red trucks.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
This is pretty funny from the 916. We could be the only team in the lottery and still not get the number one pick. Yeah, I know that's what it's like being a Kings fan. Incredible. 916 Eagles, the only team to repeat in division winners, and they would have finished fourth in the NFC West. Well, they did beat the team that they did play. They only had one game this year against the NFC West, and they did win 33-26. It was a come-from-behind victory, but they still won against the Rams 33-26. So, keep that in mind, all right? Keep that in mind. The 49ers and the Eagles coming up on Sunday, and it is certainly going to be a very difficult task for San Francisco. And I think the key here is the health. I just, at some point, okay, at some point you can't just ignore the injuries that occur week after week in the NFL, but it just seems like the 49ers have been more snake bit than other teams. Just, man.
Yeah, they're also,
losing Tatum Bethune's a big deal.
They're also playing with house money, though, Grant. That's the
thing. Don't tell that to the players in the locker room. They wouldn't say that.
There's a feel. Damon passed that sentiment along. There's a feeling that the expectation, at least with the fan base, is this team should have been out 7 weeks into the season. And
I understand that. I understand that. But don't tell John Lynch that or Kyle Shanahan. There's nobody in that locker room or in that organization that would say we're playing with house money. They still believe they can win a Super Bowl.
Well, look at what they've done up until this point.
Yep.
There's not, I guess there's less external pressure, I feel like, than in the last couple of years. So sometimes that can be of a benefit to a team like them. They have an 8.8% chance of winning the Super Bowl, according to ESPN's FPI.
Well, Trent Williams, questionable. Ricky Pearsall, questionable. The Winners, questionable. Tatum Bethune, out. I mean, this is Luke Gifford, questionable. I just don't like the way it's shaping up, going all the way to Philadelphia and taking on an Eagles team that I think is going to be able to control the clock. I mean, if I look at Indianapolis moving the ball up and down the field, if I look at the Bears moving the ball up and down the field, if I look at the ball control of Seattle, why would I think that Philadelphia is not going to be able to do the same thing?
You should be able to. It's a question if Philadelphia will come out and play that same game plan.
Yeah.
If they can execute properly, and turnovers are going to be huge. If the Niners can come up on the right side of the turnover margin, which they have not been this season for the most part, that could be a complete game changer. The Rams almost came back on the Eagles last year, Grant.
Yeah, and again, this is a Eagles team that didn't exactly play great in their final 7 games. They only won 3. They lost to Dallas in Dallas on Thanksgiving, 24-20, or no, not Thanksgiving. It was a Sunday game, 24-21. They lost to Chicago at home, 24-15. They lost to the Chargers on the road in overtime before beating the pathetic Raiders 31-0. They beat Washington, a banged-up Washington team, 29-18. And then they edged Buffalo 13-12 at Buffalo before resting everybody for the finale against Washington, where they lost 24-17. So it's not like they've just been some juggernaut of a football team this year. They've had their struggles along the way. They lost to Denver at home, 21-17. They got, remember that Thursday night game, the coming out game for Cam Scatteraboo and Jackson Dart, the home game against Philadelphia on a Thursday night. The Giants beat the Eagles 34-17. I mean, it's not like the Eagles have been some unstoppable force this year.
No, absolutely not. Their offense has been spotty at times. Think about some of those scores you just ran off.
Yeah. So if I'm looking at this situation, this matchup, I don't think it's going to be lopsided. I don't think the Eagles are going to blow out the 49ers. But if they're able to control the clock, that means the 49ers are going to pretty much have to score on most of their possessions. And we didn't see that against Seattle, but we did see that against Chicago. So are we going to have an arena football type of a game, or are we going to have a game similarly to what we had against Seattle? And I would say it's probably going to be somewhere in the middle. I don't think it's going to be to the extreme of the Bears game or the Seattle game. I think it's going to be somewhere in the middle of that.
100% with you. Playoff football. It's going to be tougher. Elevates a notch. You got pretty much clear weather for the most part. Only a few raindrops earlier in the day. I think, what do you think? Probably 24, 21? When's that
I think
game?
it's in the 20s. Yeah, I think it's in the 20s. I don't think it's going to be a game that we had against Seattle. Neither defense, I don't see. Both offenses are better. Philly's defense is good, but they're not Seattle good. Yeah, I like the number you just said. Yeah.
I just think both teams have a tendency to sometimes go away from things that are working or clearly can work. Saquon, the Eagles have gone away from. A.J. Brown, the Eagles have gone away from at times. Same thing with the Niners.
I just think you do not want to play from behind in this game. And if I'm San Francisco, I want the ball first.
Yeah.
I need to try to simmer that crowd down.
Yep.
I know that if I'm going to win this game, Brock Purdy's got to be sensational. Give me the ball first. Let me put some points on the board on the first drive and see if we can just kind of simmer things down a little bit.
Well said.
Normally, you like to kick off. I would be very leery if I'm the 49ers to have Philadelphia score on the opening drive. I don't want to play from behind in this game. I want the ball first. Give me the ball first. Let me dictate the tempo of this game.
Bingo. And you also don't want Philadelphia to drive the ball down the field for 8 minutes on the opening possession, whether they get points or not out of it.
I want to move on to this 858. Grant, I could not believe Snoop Dogg called the second half of the Clippers and Warriors game and also interviewed Steph and Kawhi Leonard live. That's embarrassing for the NBA. What a joke. I don't want anything to do with it. I think it is a joke. I think it's just ridiculous what has gone on with sports and sportscasting and the coverage of games in our society. I'm not into gimmicks. I'm not into bells and whistles. I want the game. I know I'm older. I know I think differently than a younger generation and a lot of those that like it. It's not for me. I don't want it. I don't want to listen to it. I don't want to watch it. It turns me off. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but that's how I feel. Did you watch the game, Ryan?
I did not, but I caught the moments that the 858's talking about. And my counter would be, what did you expect? That's how they
I'll tell you what I expect. I expect not to have him on the telecast. That's what I expect.
Okay, that's you as an old school sports fan, but if you're somebody that was okay with it, somebody that wanted him there, that's exactly what you expected to get if you were watching Snoop Dogg do an NBA game. So
okay, so I have to have Snoop Dogg on the telecast because I believe it's going to attract X number of more viewers. Is that right?
Correct.
So,
granted, it was an 8 o'clock game.
I'm sorry?
It was an 8 p.m. game.
Just like tonight's is an 8 o'clock game.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not for me. Not for me. I don't want it.
I'm with you. I'm completely with you.
What do you think about that, folks? If you have a thought, hit us up on the text line or call the show at 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. I'm not in the gimmicks. I'm not in the, to me, it's all about them promoting their Olympic coverage on their basketball games. I didn't watch the game, but I almost guarantee you there was cross promotion with Snoop and the Olympics, which starts in a couple of weeks over in Europe. I don't know. I don't like it. All right, so here we go, another one. That was a freaking regular season game for two teams fighting for the playoffs. It's a legitimate NBA game, and a non-professional and a broadcaster calls it. What a joke.
And then you've got the other side of it from Peter Anderson. Snoop calling out Kerr getting tossed out was funny.
Okay.
I just, can you, like, if we were 15 years ago and I told you Snoop Dogg was going to be doing the Olympics and be the hot commodity. Would you have believed that for
No.
the second time? And nothing against Snoop. It's just such a weird pairing.
Nothing in this country surprises me anymore. Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel.
Well-
I mean, it's just, we live in a crazy period of time right now. So no, nothing would surprise me. It would surprise me, and I think you're making a mistake, for your heating and air conditioning not to at least do a little homework on DAS Mechanical. And I was not aware of this until November, when it was explained to me that most homeowners are changing their heating and air systems from gas to all electric. Bottom line, it's about getting more energy efficiency and saving a lot more money every month on energy bills. Now, if your current heating and air system is 15 years or older, you know what? It may be time to consider a change. Call DAS Mechanical first. Nearly all of DAS's work is gas to electric, whole system changeouts. Nick and his team, they're experts. They specialize in this. And they also have 0% financing available. And keep in mind, if you have a heating emergency, no problem. DAS Mechanical will be there with their 24/7 availability. Award-winning, locally owned, family-owned, DAS Mechanical, serving their Sacramento and Placer County neighbors for years. Go to dasmechanical.org, book everything online, look at all of their 5-star reviews and their numerous best of the best awards. That's D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org. Let's get to Tay, calling from Los Angeles. Hello, Tay, you're on the show.
Hey, Grant, thanks for taking my call. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
I know regarding the Snoop Dogg, it's one of the, I know Ryan gave that as one of the rent options, I think about 2 weeks ago. So I actually texted about that, the one that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So last night I was watching the game because the Kings game wasn't on. So I was watching the Clippers and the Warriors. And like I said, Snoop Dogg called the second half. And the only problem I have is I would have been fine if he used professional broadcaster language. But the whole second half, he was making very, funny metaphors that, had no place in professional broadcasting. And this is a regular NBA season game between the two highly contested Western Conference teams, both fighting for playoff spots. Warriors trying to not get out of play-in picture, and Clippers trying to get into the playoffs. It's not even a preseason game, not an all-star game. And what also made it to be a joke was that Snoop was interviewing Kawhi Leonard after the game, and you could tell through the body language of Kawhi that he did not even want to be there. And this was broadcasted live, and Snoop is obviously a Lakers fan. He has, he has done a lot of, hate on the Clippers, throughout the years. And him just asking, again, questions that had no relevance to the game, but really to broadcast himself and also to advertise the Olympics. I just thought it was very poorly advertised, again, in a regular season game where each game matters for every single Western Conference team in case of Clippers and Warriors.
Fair enough. I didn't watch it, so it's difficult for me to comment. I would not have watched it, and I definitely would have not have watched it if I knew that Snoop was going to be on the telecast, which I didn't know anyway. But if I had turned it on and saw him, I would have turned it off immediately. I don't want that.
Anyway, thanks for I just couldn't believe what I was hearing, him broadcasting and giving all sorts of metaphors and stuff.
It's a joke. It's all about I'll tell you what, it's all about promoting the Olympics. That's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. Plain and simple.
Yep,
Thanks very much.
There were commercials about the Olympics as well. Thanks, Grant.
Of course there are. It has not. It's all about their promotion of the Olympics. 100%. Thank you for the call.
I got to chime in for my guy.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I got to chime in for my guy Kawhi. That's just his personality. He got water sprayed on him after a 55-point game, and he was upset. So.
Yeah, but it was tongue-in-cheek upset. He wasn't like really upset.
Right.
He wasn't like,
Kawhi's just Kawhi. He's very dry.
Yeah, but I mean, he was upset, but it was not a real upset. It was like, that's my personality. It's tongue in cheek. I love you guys.
Yeah.
But you have to pay for my new hair too, or whatever.
Exactly.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. From the 916 regarding Kawhi, has he ever looked happy during an interview? Ever? Even the game winner in Toronto, he was annoyed. No, he doesn't. That's his personality. It's like, does Bill Belichick ever look happy when you saw him on the sidelines or in interviews? Did he ever look happy there? Right? I mean, did Tom Landry ever look happy when he was coaching the Dallas Cowboys to Super Bowls? Did he ever look happy on the sidelines if you were from that era? Did Vince Lombardi ever look happy? Sometimes he did, actually. How about Bill Parcells? You ever see Bill Parcells look happy on the sidelines? Ever? Yeah, when he had Gatorade thrown over his head after the Giants beat Washington in the NFC Championship game to advance to their first Super Bowl, he looked pretty happy. But no. I'm going to be happy because I've got Grant's Rant coming up in a couple of moments. And I'm going to be happy because I get to talk to Sean Salisbury. So all of that is coming up. The third hour of the show, right around the corner, plus your phone calls and text messages at 916-779-0929. Right here, the Grant Napear Show, Fox Sports, Sacramento.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580, or go to elitepower.com.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Since 2000, the Raiders have been best defined by one word: instability. 15 head coaches, if you count John Gruden twice. That's just over a quarter of a century. That tells you the story before you turn on the tape. The revolving door has become the organization's identity. Teams cannot build, grow, or sustain success when the foundation is constantly being ripped out. There are obvious contributing factors: a lack of elite talent, years without a true franchise quarterback. All that matters, but it always circles back to leadership. The Raiders have repeatedly missed on hiring the right voice, the right fit for a franchise that needs to be in the modern NFL. The result is a team stuck in neutral while the league evolves around it. Coaching turnover creates cultural whiplash, changing systems and expectations every few years. Players come and go. Now, the Raiders are on the clock with the number one pick in the draft and needing the right head coach again. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. These days, everybody's searching for ways to save on insurance, scrolling comparison sites, digging through tips, chasing deals, but Liberty Mutual makes it simple. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance to save you money. And when you bundle, those savings really come through. It's insurance built for real people with a team that goes above and beyond to help you keep more of what matters. No hunting, no hassle, just confidence that your coverage customized with savings in mind. Start your quote at libertymutual.com.
Start the year with a splash of flavor with Heartland Steakho's Reef and Beef Package, which combines juicy steak and fresh seafood for the ultimate celebration. You will be feasting on Maine cold water lobster, jumbo USA sea scallops, 16-ounce USDA choice ribeye steaks, and 8-ounce filet mignon delivered straight to your door. Ordering is easy at heartlandsteakco.com. And right now, when you spend $199.99 or more, you'll get free shipping plus $26 off with promo code NEWYEAR26. Taste the Heartland difference.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant.
Yeah, we've had a couple of messages today about something that never happened before in the National Football League. I doubt it would happen on any level of football in America, regardless of where we're talking about peewee football, whether we're talking about junior high school, college, whatever the case may be. A defensive coach in Aaron Glenn, the New York Jets coming off a dismal, pathetic season, and you go through 17 games without an interception. Like, you know how hard it is to be in the National Football League? 17 games, whether it's even 5 games, 10 games, 15 games, 17 games, and no interceptions for the New York Jets? How does that happen? What a pathetic year for Aaron Glenn. And you know how I always talk about talk is cheap, right? We talked about the Kings training camp and how great everything looked and how great everything sounded. I'm like, stop. I'm like, that's going on in every single training camp around the NBA right now. Same thing with the New York Jets. Things are going to be different. Aaron Glenn, this and that. Things are going to be different. Blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Things were not different. You could make the argument they were worse, which is hard to believe if you're a fan of the New York Jets, that it could be worse. You started off losses at home to Pittsburgh. You lost to Buffalo. You lost to Tampa. You lost to Miami. You lost to Dallas. You lost to Denver. You lost to Carolina. And then it's Halloween week before you finally beat Cincinnati with their backup quarterback 39-38. Then you beat the mistake on the lake in the Browns. You ended up this year with 3 wins. And you don't have a game with an interception. How do you have a game, or excuse me, how do you have a season with no picks? Unfreaking believable. You want to talk about something that's never going to be, that we'll never talk about again? We'll never talk about a team playing 17 games in the NFL without an interception, right? I mean, could you imagine, just like what I experienced with the Kings? You'll never have an NBA team go 1-40 on the road again, and you'll never have an NBA team do what the Sacramento Kings did in the early 90s when they lost 43 consecutive road games. That's right. You only play 41 in a year, and the Kings lost 43 over a span of 2 seasons. 43 consecutive road losses. And as Dick Motta said, walking off Air Bowl 1 after the last road game in the season in which the Kings had their private plane for the first time after flying commercial previously, and we're walking off the airplane after a 1-40 road campaign, and the then head coach of the Sacramento Kings, Dick Motta, says, man, it's a good thing we had our own plane this year. We may have gone 0-41. See, flying charter doesn't always equate in the wins. Certain things that we'll never see again in sport. We'll never see an NBA team lose 43 in consecutive road games, and we'll never see an NFL team once again go through an entire season with no interceptions. Unbelievable. Seriously. Incredible. All right, still trying to get Sean Salisbury. As soon as we are able to connect with him, we'll put him on. All right, 916-779-0929. That's 916-779-0929. What do you think? We talk about records in sports. Records in sports. Okay? What records will we never see again? Joe DiMaggio, hitting streak, 43 consecutive road losses, no interceptions in an NFL season. There are many more. What else do you think we will never see again in the world of sports? Like unbreakable records is what I'm saying. We'll never have another 300-game winner in baseball, right? That's never going to happen again. The game is too specialized now. Think about that. Do you know how difficult it was to win 300 games as a pitcher in baseball? Think about that for a moment. 15 years of 20 wins. And somebody said in the 631, and that's 17 games, not 14. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is. 17 games in an NFL season. I don't understand how we would even be discussing this. Like, I don't even think that's possible. I don't know how we could even get to this point. That's never going to happen again. Seriously. How about Wilt Chamberlain? A 100-point game where he averaged 50.4 points per game in a season. That's never going to happen again. You think anybody's ever going to have 511 wins in Major League Baseball like Cy Young did? Again, I talk about Joe DiMaggio, 56-game hitting streak. I don't think so. Are we ever going to get to Rickey Henderson's stolen base mark of, what is it, over 1,400? I forget the exact number. How about Cal Ripken? What did he play? Over 2,600 consecutive games, right? From the 916, Wayne Gretzky's assist and points record will never be broken. No, it will not. No, it will not. I'm glad you said that. It will not. The great Wayne Gretzky. But if you talk about like 43 games, a 43-game road losing streak, that's just like, how does that happen? And again, you're never going to see a player break Cal Ripken. Probably not going to see, what did Michael Phelps have? What was it? What was it? 23 gold medals, right? That's never going to happen again. What about Nolan Ryan? What did he have? Oh, he had over 5,000 career strikeouts, right? Like, what was it? 56, 5,700? That's never going to be broken again. It's unbelievable. And I'm looking up right now Wayne Gretzky. Here it is. 2,857 career points with 1,963 career assists. You're absolutely right. That's never going to be broken. Let's get to Lynn. Hello, Lynn.
Grant, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Lynn. Good to have you on the show.
You got my one with the swimming Olympics, but I got another one for you.
Yep.
How about Rafael Nadal wins at the French Open? I don't think nobody will ever get close to that number. And even his total clay wins, I don't think anybody will ever get
at the
close
French
to those
Open. And
records
what, Rafi did it. Roland Garros, I would agree with you. I don't think that's going to be surpassed.
And what he did on clay too, or everywhere else, his clay wins is just insane. How many wins he had in clay.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best clay court player of all time. There's no question about that.
Yeah. All right, that was it. And the other one was the Michael Phelps that you got in swimming. All right, see you, Grant.
Thank you, buddy. All right. That's it. Michael Phelps. Think about that. Okay? Think about that. Is there anyone that's going to get that many gold medals? Think about it. I would say no. No way. Whoops, sorry about that. I thought I hit the message. There we go. I don't think so. Ryan, you have a record that kind of like you talk about that's never going to happen, that we're never going to surpass?
Yeah, Wilt Chamberlain. I'm going to double down on that. He averaged 48.5 minutes in the 61-62 season.
What season was that?
1961-62.
Wow. How many minutes?
48.5. A basketball game's 48. He played every minute of the regular season and 7 overtimes.
He didn't have load management, huh? Where he had to sit out because he was tired? Not if you go by his extracurricular activities, which he bragged about. He might have to sit out for that.
Yeah, yeah. And you would have thought he would have got a calf strain or a quad strain at some point, too.
Oh, my gosh.
Those soft tissue injuries.
Oh, my gosh. What about the Warriors 73-9 record likely to be broken? I thought the Oklahoma City Thunder would have a chance at that this year, but I don't think anymore.
Yeah. Phoenix knocked him off. That was a signature win for them. Yeah, I'm with you there.
400 batting average in baseball, I don't think we'll ever see that. Cal Ripken, someone said 9-6. That record will never be broken. No question. That will never be broken. It will not happen.
So when I was at SDSU, one of our teammates, Ben Wardrop, he held for a very long time the quickest foul out in NCAA history. It was just under 3 minutes. 5 fouls.
Was he in there just to intentionally foul a certain individual on the other team?
No. He was at first, and then they just let him go. It was towards we had some injury issues. But Bubba Wells from Grand Canyon University now owns that record at 2 minutes and 43 seconds.
Wow. All right, so I want to throw this out. 916-779-0929. The records that will live in infamy, that will never be broken. You'll never have a 300-game winner in baseball again. That's never going to happen. I mean, you rarely get a 20-game winner anymore in baseball. Do you know how amazing of an accomplishment that is when you think about it? You'd have to win 20 games for 15 years. That's not going to happen. Ricky Henderson, stolen bases, leadoff home runs. I would agree with you. Leadoff home runs, I could see. You know, Aaron Judge bats leadoff for the Yankees a lot. I could see that. Stolen bases, no. The game's too different now, so I don't think you're going to see that. So stolen bases, absolutely not. 56-game hitting streak, I don't think there's any way you're going to see that. 43-game road losing streak in the NBA that the Kings own. I don't think you're going to see that. Here's another one that I was absolutely blessed to be behind the microphone for Klay Thompson scoring 37 points in one quarter. What do you think, Ryan? You think we'll ever see that again? 37 points in one quarter, Kings, Warriors, Klay Thompson. That's amazing.
You might. Somebody,
really?
Somebody got close to it. I think it was 34 points. I'll do the research on it right now. I think you might see that at one point with the three ball if the game continues. But
he made nine in that quarter.
I don't know if you'll see one that's that efficient.
I know it's a top record, but what about Kobe's 81-point game? Well, Wilt's got 100, so that's not even in the conversation. That's not even in the conversation. I mean, 100 points in a game, we're not going to see that, will we, Rhino? Will we see an NBA player score 100 points ever again in a game? I would say no. I don't think that's going to happen.
I
really don't.
We've had this conversation. I don't think it will happen either, but if it were going to happen, I think we both said it would be Wemby, right?
Yes. I would agree about the Wayne Gretzky assist record, total points. That will never be broken again in the NHL. That's not going to happen. Cal Ripken, his consecutive game streak, that's never going to be broken. I feel pretty confident in that. And I'm also pretty confident in saying we'll never have an NFL team go a whole season without an interception again.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Kevin Love had 34 points in a November 2016 game.
In one quarter. Okay. That is close. You're right. So that might be obtainable because of the three-point shot. You know, most players go their entire career without ever scoring 37 points in a game, and Klay Thompson was able to do that in one quarter. Isn't that just – and I was, again, so blessed to be announcing that game. And, you know, when you announce games, you don't really know what's going to happen. That's the beauty of your job. It's all spontaneous. And you're not even aware of what might happen when you're halfway through the quarter. You're just like, well, the guy's hot. I mean, I see guys get hot all the time.
Yeah.
And then when you're with like 3 minutes left and you go to that final timeout of the quarter, you begin to understand the historical aspect of what is going on in front of you. And you just get more revved up and you're so up into the moment. And I don't normally talk about myself. You know this, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't like talking about what I've done. And one of the most gratifying things of my career was all of the compliments I got from the Warrior fans about how I called that quarter. And that meant a lot to me, that they just thought I did an outstanding job bringing in the excitement and the moment, even though the individual was on the other team. So I always wanted to say thank you to the Warrior fans for that, because that is on YouTube. If you go look at Klay Thompson's 37-point quarter on YouTube, they actually have a version of me and Jerry calling the game. And I go back and watch it from time to time because it brings back great memories for me.
Was there a point where, and I know you never forget you're on a broadcast, but you're seeing that through the lens of a fan, like this is greatness?
100%, because during the quarter, the timeout, I looked at my phone real quickly, and there were social media messages on Twitter from the NBA and others saying, you need to go tune in to the Kings-Warriors game. What's going on is unbelievable. Like that was like, I glanced at my phone for like 30 seconds and that was all over social media. And I was like, wow, like the magnitude of what could happen. And the final 3 minutes of that quarter was something I'll never forget.
Incredible.
It was unbelievable. It really was.
Power sports.
Yep. Tell you what else is unbelievable, how great Nick Delancey is at DAS Mechanical, because their 5-star reviews are not an accident. Their numerous best of the best awards, not an accident. Their level of expertise is unbelievable. It really is. It's top shelf. They're family owned and operated. Talking about HVAC, your heating and air conditioning system. That's right. Heating and air conditioning, retrofit and service specialist. That's what they do at DAS Mechanical. They also do new systems, ideal for homeowners, businesses, for commercial maintenance. If you need financing, they've got you covered. Options including 0% interest for 18 months. Go to dasmechanical.org, D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org, and you can check out all of their 5-star reviews and their numerous best of the best awards. And just schedule everything online. It's so easy. All right. And they're going to walk you through every step of the process. There aren't going to be any surprises. You're not going to be like, well, gee, I didn't know that. No. They are going to make sure you understand everything they're doing to your HVAC system, all of your options, what their recommendations are. They are awesome. That's D as in dog, A, S as in Sam, mechanical.org for all of your HVAC retrofit and service needs. Don't forget, 916-779-0929. Keep the messages coming along. Phone calls as well right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
We are Fox Sports.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gabroods. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gabrood and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gabroods does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gabroods, expert 5-star service and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gabroods.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gabroods, Gubruds.
Call the good dudes at Gabroods, Guburuds, Gabroods.com.
Need new tires or brakes? See the experts at Expert Tires. Save big at Expert Tires and Brakes on Auburn Boulevard, Sacramento. Expert Tires and Brakes guarantees fast, guaranteed service at the best prices in the area. Check out their special offers on sets of Ford Bridgestone and Firestone tires. Need new brakes? Expert Tires and Brakes is the place to go. Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard. The best in tires and brakes.
Brad Gazan, on Atlanta United, we know everyone has a ritual, a habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance. But what do you do to keep your head in the game? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body. It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Find resources at georgia.loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute, the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, and the Ad Council.
You know, it's interesting to talk about why we watch sports, right? And people always ask me, like, what's the thing that I miss the most about calling live games? And I always have a very simple response. I miss the big moments. I miss the record-breaking moments, things that have never happened before, such as a player scoring 37 points in a quarter, because you walk into an arena, the Warriors were really good, the Kings were really bad. The game really doesn't have that much relevance for the Kings. It's a game. You know, it's not like they're going to the playoffs. And then you realize that you just announced greatness. You know, you could go to an A's game in Sacramento against the Miami Marlins or a bad team that might be in town for a series. And you go to a weekday game and maybe it's hot and maybe there aren't a lot of people there. And you end up watching a no-hitter or a perfect game. And you'll remember that forever. And that's the beauty of sport, because even if it's two bad teams playing, you don't know if you're going to see something that ends up being historic. And that's something that I miss. And I miss the big moments. And I always talk about this profession because I talk to a lot of aspiring broadcasters, and they always ask me for advice and tips. And I'm very happy to, share my wisdom of decades of announcing live sporting events, whether it's hockey or basketball or football. I've been blessed to do all three. And you have to hit home runs on the big moments. Because if I announce an NBA game and it's 48 minutes or 53 minutes, or in some cases longer if it goes to more than one overtime, nobody really wants to talk about the call that you made in the first quarter or the second quarter. They want to talk about your game-winning call, the moment, right? The big moment in the game, which normally happens at the end, that you can't forecast. And you don't know what's going to happen before the ball is inbounded. You don't know if somebody's going to make a great shot. You don't know if somebody's going to make a tremendous steal and then heave up the ball from half court and win a buzzer beater. I saw a lot of messages on social media because it was the anniversary of Nemanja Bjelica's three-pointer in Houston from way outside, and then the post-game press conference where he actually cursed a little bit, and that was replayed a lot, and I had forgotten about that. And what stands out to me is I received 2 messages after the game from NBA referees that weren't working that game, but were watching a game. And it was the end of a road trip for Sacramento. And while the ball was in the air, I said, Bielitsa, to go home happy, meaning the end of a road trip, you'll be really happy to go home if that goes in. And it went in, and it was a great scene. Again, I didn't think about saying that. It just happened. And that's the beauty of announcing live sports, because you can't rehearse moments like that as an announcer. You can't rehearse them because you don't know when they're going to occur. And they're all different. And they all have different significance. And it's different when you announce a game at home as compared to the road, because when you announce a game at home, you have to lay out because you can't talk over the crowd. Whereas on the road, the arena then becomes suddenly quiet and you have to carry the emotion. There was Buddy Hield's game winner a couple of years ago in Detroit where, he sprinted from one end of the court all the way to the other end and through the tunnel as he made a game-winning 3 in Detroit. And had that been a home game, I wouldn't have been able to say anything, but because it was on the road, I was able to do the whole thing. So it's different. All of that is different, and those are the moments that I miss. I miss the big moments. I miss the game-winning shots. I miss the big plays. The Tyreek Evans shot from beyond half court against Memphis, where Dante Green is running onto the court because he knew the ball was going to be going in. Like those moments, like the 35-point comeback in Chicago. And I'll tell you, to this day, I think it's the best telecast that we ever did. And I thought Jerry gets an A+++ for his commentary in that game. Because when the Kings were down 35, I said to Jerry Reynolds, I go, what's Paul Westphal saying to his team right now, Jerry? He's saying, guys, don't worry about the score. Don't even look at the scoreboard. There's no score right now. Don't even look at it. Just go out and play. And when Paul Westphal did the post-game press conference, he said, well, what did you say to your guys when you were down 35? I said, guys, don't look at the scoreboard. Don't worry about the score. Just go out and play. And I just thought, wow, Jerry hit that right on the head. And then the Kings started to make that comeback, and Tyreek Evans in his rookie year. And Ime Udoka made a couple of big threes. And there were, some other players but Tyreek Evans was incredible. And at the end of the game, when the Kings finished off the amazing 35-point comeback, when they were down 35 halfway through the third, I said, somehow, some way, the Sacramento Kings find a way to win here in Chicago. And that's played over and over again. So, those are the moments that I miss. Those are, the moments in my profession that you live for, that you never know are going to happen when you walk into a gym or an arena. You just don't know. Hockey is unlike any other sport because in hockey, you honestly don't have any time. I was announcing a Sharks game against the LA Kings, and all of a sudden, Yari Curry comes down on a breakaway because the Sharks mishandled the puck coming out of their zone. And so you have literally less than a second to comprehend what just happened and put your signature energy onto the call. You can't rehearse that. You can't practice that. That's just it just happens. So I love talking about records because as an announcer, the greatest thrill is to be a part of those records, such as what we saw with Klay Thompson and his 37 points in the third quarter. Otis in Sacramento, you're next here. Hello, Otis.
Hey, Grant, how are you today?
Thank you.
So I'm calling about the John Harbaugh release.
Yep, go ahead.
Can you hear me? I don't know.
Yep. I hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Good. So I just saw a thing come across also. He got released in, or whatever. I don't know if he quit or they fired him, but
They fired him.
there's 7 teams. Okay. So, but every team reached out to his agent within 45 minutes. So,
yep.
What's your take? Where is he going? I mean, are you kidding me? Every team wants him.
Well, I could see him going to the Giants because they have a franchise-looking young quarterback in Jackson Dart. So I know that they are interviewing Kevin Stefanski this week, but I could see Harbaugh moving right up to the top of the list.
I could too. That's exactly the first team that jumped at me because he's got Jackson Dart. I mean, he lives in that the northeast area, right? So I mean, I'm thinking that's a perfect fit for him, right?
Yeah, I don't think it matters the region of the country. I don't think it matters whether it's the Northeast or the Southwest or that's not a factor. I don't think that has anything to do with it. He wants to go to a team.
Well, I mean,
where first of all, if you're going to go to a team, you want a franchise type of quarterback, and I think most people feel that Jackson Dart's going to be that player.
Yeah. So, any word on why? I mean, they moved on. Obviously, I mean,
they wanted to change. He'd been there like 18 years, and they felt that it was type of a change.
Well, yeah, okay. But careful what you wish for. I mean, he was productive. I mean, oh wow, that's shocking to me.
All right.
So, all right. So, thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. He won't be unemployed for long. Will not be unemployed for long. That's for sure. 916-779-0929. Let's get to Cliff in West Sacramento. Hi, Cliff. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, Grant. Happy New Year to all you at the station there.
Thank you, Cliff. You too.
Let me give you this idea I just came up with about discouraging tanking in the NFL. What if there was a
There is no tanking in the NFL. It really doesn't go on, but go ahead.
Okay. Well, what if there was another mini lottery for the bottom 6 teams where they all got one ping pong ball for.
I don't like it. I don't like gimmicks. I hate the lottery. Worst team gets to pick. I know you could say the Raiders tanked this year when they sat down Max Crosby and they sat their tight end Bowers against the Giants. But, you know, the Giants were as bad as the Raiders, and the Giants went in there and won. I don't like gimmicks. I don't like the lottery. I've never been a fan of the lottery. I would like to get rid of it.
Okay. Well, thanks, Grant, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, too. Thank you very much. I think the worst team needs to get the first pick in the draft. That's what I think. My prediction on where Harbaugh will coach next year, will he wait a year? I don't think he'll wait a year unless it's a situation where he feels that, well, it's not the right situation. I think, first of all, you need to go to a team that has an up-and-coming young quarterback because you can't win in the NFL without a top-flight quarterback. So I think that would be on the list. So would that be, you know, if you look at the vacancies right now, would that be Arizona? No. Would it be Cleveland? Maybe, but probably not that attractive with ownership there. I wouldn't want to go to Cleveland. If I'm looking at Atlanta, maybe. You know, if you think Penix is that guy. If you're looking at the Giants, Jackson Dart, very attractive. You know, those are just some of the jobs that are open. You know, if you don't, first of all, here's the nice situation if you're John Harbaugh. You're going to be able to wait and take the job that makes the most sense for you. All right? You're going to be able to make a decision that gives you a chance to be competing for another Super Bowl. So he's in a great situation. And you'll be in a great situation if you are in the real estate market and use Spencer at Village Financial Group. Experience, trust, a specialist when it comes to financing. Broker owner, Spencer Grimmenstein, Village Financial Group. 25 years he began his family-owned business. I've known him from day one. And if you're buying a home, you're selling a home, you are in the market, you want a home equity line of credit, again, Spence is a very creative financing specialist, and he has access to private money. Give him a call or text him at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. Now, if you go online, you can check out over 9,000 properties available at vfgloans.com. That's vfgloans.com. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. That's 805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Final segment. Fox Sports Sacramento next, right here on the Grant Napear Show.
Are your lights flickering more than a disco ball? Tired of your office coffee maker and server room fighting over that one working outlet? Call the pros who keep the juice flowing. Elite Power Inc. Elite Power Inc. is the commercial and industrial electrical contractor who takes your power and lighting seriously so you don't have to. Elite Power Inc. handles everything from rewiring ancient office buildings to installing cutting-edge control panels in factories. Their IBEW 340 electricians have more certifications than your printer has error messages. And they promise not to judge your breaker panel's creative labeling. Get plugged in with Elite Power Inc., where sparks fly, but only in a good way. Professionally trained technicians, 24-hour electrical service, maintenance, and repair. Project estimating, the knowledge and skill for any commercial or industrial need. Call 916-739-1580. That's 916-739-1580. Or go to elitepower.com.
Sierra Pacific Home and Comfort is all about keeping you comfortable at home. And when your sewer system backs up or the toilet suddenly won't flush, that's not comfortable. Sierra Pacific's expert plumbers are always ready to deal with household plumbing emergencies. We'll come out and solve the problem, no problem. Expert plumbing service anytime at SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Looking for the perfect spot to watch the game and enjoy amazing food and drinks? Look no further than Fieldhouse American Sports Pub. Family owned and operated, Fieldhouse is passionate about creating a fun, welcoming atmosphere for everyone. Spice things up on Tuesdays with Taco Tuesday. Buy any order of our delicious tacos and get a refreshing margarita for just $6. On Wednesday, Fieldhouse features incredible drink specials. Enjoy $5 well drinks and ice cold pints all day long. Fieldhouse was voted the #1 sports bar in Sacramento. Tons of TVs, a mouth-watering menu, and daily specials. It's the perfect sports bar to catch all the action. Visit us today at 1833 Fulton Avenue. Fieldhouse American Sports Pub, where the food is fantastic, the drinks are flowing, and the good times never stop. Fieldhouse, bring it to the house.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First, drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips. Because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Final segment. Kings and Mavs tonight. Keegan Murray out several weeks. Do you agree with me when I say this is just a wasted year for him?
Unfortunately, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an argument that could be made before this latest injury.
Yes, you could make that argument. That is correct. And then now what will the rotation look like? That's number one. And number two, are we going to see, like, when are we going to talk about a game where Nick Clifford plays 30 minutes or more? When are we going to get to that point?
When Doug Christie decides not to go back to DeMar DeRozan and I'm going to call them the quote-unquote closers.
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, that many times dig you into the hole.
And Russ has been awful lately, has he not? Let's just call it the way it is. He's been horrible in the fourth quarters.
Yeah, I put out tweets in each of the last two first halves that says Russ doesn't have it tonight. His numbers show it. You need to have some discretion there. When you know the guy doesn't have it,
100%.
play somebody else those extra minutes.
100%. 100%.
And I'm not going to put it all on Doug Christie about Russ and the increased three-point shooting. Teams are dangling carrots in front of Russ and in front of Dennis Schroeder. They're daring them to shoot because they're aggressive-minded point guards. They're scoring point guards, and they've got to be able to understand the game and resist that. Russ has not been as good at that as Dennis has lately.
Yeah. Here's a score Kings fans are going to like. How about this score for you? Ready for this? The Wizards are leading the Orlando Magic 89-63 with 4 minutes left to go in the third.
Who's out for Orlando?
89-63.
Who is out for Orlando? There's no way they're playing everybody.
89-63. Here's your starting lineup for the Magic tonight. Van Carroll's playing.
Okay.
De Silva's playing. Wendell Carter's playing. Desmond Bain's starting. Black starting. They don't have anyone out. They're all playing.
How about that?
89-63 with 5.5 left to go in the third. Spurs are in Memphis. They lead 31-24 early second quarter. Timberwolves at home against the Heat lead by 3 early second quarter. Lakers are in New Orleans up 4 minutes gone by in the second quarter.
So are we sending people into the Golden One Center hoping for a loss?
You tell me.
I'm not personally, but I know there's a segment of the fan base that scoreboard watches.
Well, you heard I asked Chuck what are Mavs fans hoping? He goes, they're hoping the Kings beat the Mavs tonight.
I told you a week and a half ago. It was almost 2 weeks ago. Somebody from the Mavs in their front office was here for a little bit of an extended time. And him and I were talking in the media room, and he brought up exactly what Chuck brought up. They're hoping that this year, because of the way it's turned out, they can get another high pick because they don't have their control their next 4 first-round picks. It's the last real chance to go fishing.
Here's another score Kings fans will like. The Pacers lead the Cavaliers 90-84. That's left to go in a third. Indiana is 6-30. One of their wins, of course, came against Sacramento.
Very interesting. Okay.
Yep.
Do you have a key or two for tonight for the Kings?
Yeah, just don't have anybody get hurt.
Oh, man, we're getting back to basics.
There are no keys because it really doesn't matter whether they win or lose. So there is no key. I'm sorry that I'm so down on everything that's going on and negative, but there's when you ask me what the key for the game is tonight, there is no key because nothing matters anymore other than Max Reynaud, Nick Clifford, and Precious Achua, and hopefully one or two other younger. Nothing else matters. It doesn't matter what Levine does. It doesn't matter what DeRozan does. It doesn't matter what Westbrook does. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose. You're probably better off losing. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I get it. Those are guys that you would like to move. So I get it. With Keegan out, I'll throw you a couple for those hardcores.
And PJ Washington's out for Dallas. So let's and they also don't have Kyrie Irving. So you know what I'm hoping the game is at least competitive. Is that fair?
Yeah, definitely. Well, by the way, Kyrie Irving, interesting. He got a good workout in after shoot around today with Phil Handy, who's an excellent player development coach. So he is back on the road trip. That's something notable. Points in the paint. The Kings are 29th in the NBA at allowing points in the paint. And without Keegan Murray, that's going to be an issue. Dylan Cardwell is going to be available for this game. And second chance points, the Kings are 28th in the NBA at allowing second chance points. They've got to win those two categories to beat the Mavericks tonight.
Yeah. And then when you look at the Dallas Mavericks, who are centering everything around Cooper Flagg, what about Anthony Davis?
That's exactly what I'm saying. It's the rebounding.
That's what I'm saying. Like who? So when I need to be more specific. Who do you think starts out on him?
It's going to be Precious. Well, no, I think Doug will have enough trust in Max to start out on him. I think you throw Max, you're going to have some switches anyways. So it's going to be a combination of Max, Precious, and Neek, because Neek will probably catch him on a switch, but Max will be the guard. Isn't that who you'd put on him?
Yeah. I mean, you're going to have different guys on him. So, and then will he get hurt early in the game and not be on the floor? Who knows? But the Kings don't have anybody that can guard Anthony Davis.
Yeah. Hey, I got to get one notable record in here.
Yes.
Chris in the YouTube chat, 83 hot dogs by Joey Chestnut.
Oh, wow. What's the time limit on that you have?
10 minutes.
You know, huh?
10 minutes.
10 minutes to do 83 dogs.
83 dogs and buns.
You are kidding me.
It's insane.
Like, how's that even humanly possible when you really think about that? Seriously, like just understand what we're talking about here. Hot dogs and buns, 83. You know, if you had 24 hours and someone said you have to eat 83 hot dogs, I don't think you'd be able to do it in 24 hours, let alone 10 minutes.
No, some people's there's a whole subculture out there besides Major League Eating. There's YouTubers that take on these food challenges that are just unreal, where it's like up to 10 pounds of food. I just don't know where it goes.
Here's another one. UConn women winning 111 consecutive basketball games. Yeah, I don't see that ever being broken.
Yeah, it's kind of like the John Wooden men's record, right?
Is that amazing? This is an interesting, had the Ravens kicker Tyler Lute made it, Tomlin would have been fired. Job security in the NFL is brutal. I agree with that. I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think they would have gone in a different direction.
Good take. Great take.
Isn't that spot on?
It is. Really great take. You're getting some nice. I'm going to leave you with a question, and then I'm going to have you read the text because they go hand in hand. 'Cause you were talking about sports in those big moments. What was the preparation, or was there any preparation if you were walking into a game where you knew there was going to be a big moment or a record broken?
Sure. You're prepared for it. You understand that the significance of it, the relevance of it, when it may happen. You need to be aware that if it's a cumulative type of a deal, how many points does that individual have? How many assists? How many rebounds? How many do they need? You have to be aware that now they're 4 away, they're 3 away, 2, whatever. Yes, you absolutely have to have that as your focal point getting ready for the game. Yes, 100%.
But do you think about what you might say, like if there's that one-liner when the opportunity comes?
Now, yes, you do. In a moment like that, where you know there's going to be a pending record broken, yes, you do think about what you may say. So, yes, would I say it's word for word written down? No, I never did that.
Yeah.
But you don't want to see. It's a great question. That moment's going to live forever in the history of that franchise. And your voice is going to be the voice that's on that. And you don't get a second chance. You have to hit it out of the park. It has to be spot on. It has to be something that you as an announcer are very proud of, but that your fan base is very proud of. And the individual that makes the record, who's going to live with you throughout those moments, is very proud of it as well. So that's a great question. Yes. You cannot mess that up.
You just gave me goosebumps when you broke it down to each level and how important.
We live in an era where everything now that is said is available for generations to come. Correct? So, like, if 100 years from now, somebody wants to go back and watch a record that still stands, assuming that it does, with 37 points that Klay Thompson scored, that individual can go back and do that, right?
Absolutely.
Whereas when I announced a great game, let's say in 1988, that may not be available anywhere to go back and look. Now everything's there and will be there and will be available for the history of mankind. So you want to make sure that you hit it out of the park. You do not want to make a mistake. You don't want to flub your words. You don't want to have anything other than the moment symbolized as close as perfection as you can get.
And you want it to be authentic too, right?
Yes, you don't want it manufactured. You don't want it to sound like it's rehearsed. It all has to be authentic. And that's why I very rarely think about what I'm going to say before I'm saying, you know me, right? I don't have anything written down other than when I read some endorsements. Sometimes I have it written down, but a lot of times I use bullet points. But whenever I do my YouTube shows or do this show, I don't have anything written down in front of me when I host a 3-hour radio show. I didn't have anything written down in front of me when I did a Kings telecast. I mean, I have preparation I do where I write notes that are relevant to a player's streak or their achievements or this or that. But like, I don't read verbatim when I'm announcing a game or speaking. That's why I always tell young aspiring broadcasters, learn how to ad lib. I'll tell you, Nico Horning would not have a problem with me saying this. He sent me a couple of sportscasts that he did because he's done everything. He's getting ready to graduate from Syracuse. I've been helping him since he was in high school at Oak Ridge, and he's going to have an amazing career. He's immensely talented. He's improved incredibly from year to year. He's done everything. I'm so proud of him. But he sent me 2 sportscasts that he did on radio. And I sent him, I go, it sounds really good, and I really like it. I go, now do me a favor. I go, write down bullet points and do your sportscast that way instead of the format that you just did, and send it to me. And I want to know if you see the difference, if you feel the difference, because when I have interns that are responsible very often for doing the sports updates on a radio station, they write everything down word for word. And I say to them, I go, hey, if you're going to be doing a sports update, let's say once every 20 minutes, like they do like for instance, WFAN, right? They have a sports update every 20 minutes.
Yep.
A lot of sports stations. And it's, let's say 1 minute, right?
Yeah.
Well, there are games that are going on so that every 20 minutes, the update is different. You don't have time to write all of that down. You need to learn how to ad-lib your sportscast. Have the things that you want to talk about. So-and-so got hurt and is going to be out 2 weeks. The score of this game with so-and-so leading all scores with 24 points. But then when you do the sportscast in 20 minutes, that may be 30 points. You don't have time to go back and write all of that down. You've got to follow everything. And then you get into the studio and you've got 60 seconds or 90 seconds or whatever to do a sports update. And you have to ad-lib it. You don't have time to write it all down and read it off a piece of paper. Ad-lib it, because as you're in the middle of doing a sportscast, the score of the game may change. And you have to talk about that because you're giving a sports update. The update has to be concise. It has to be accurate. It has to be for the moment. It can't be in the past tense. It's got to be in the present tense. So ad-lib and just do it that way. Write some bullet points and do it. Don't read word for word. That's what I've always learned. That's what I've always done. Just like right now, okay? I'm going to talk about Village Financial Group. And yeah, I have something I could read, but I don't like reading it. I like talking about somebody I've known for 25 years because there's a trust factor. There is an experience factor. There is that, intimate knowledge of how an individual goes about his job. And so I love talking about Village Financial Group because they've been in business since 2000. And I've known Spencer Grimmenstein since 2000. And when it comes to real estate, maybe you're buying a home in 2026, right? Maybe you're selling a home, whatever the case may be. Or you just need some cash and you're like, I'm going to look into a home equity line of credit. You want someone that is experienced. You want someone you can trust. And hey, when it comes to real estate, if you are a financing specialist, that to me is a real bonus. And that's Spencer because he's really creative. So call or text Spence 916-805-4868. He's fine with you texting him. 916-805-4868. He's awesome. He's going to do a great job for you. Trust me. It makes sense to call Spence. Again, that number, folks, 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Thank you so much for your support. Great show today. Really enjoyed that. My thanks to Chuck Cooperstein, the voice of the Mavs. A late show tonight over on YouTube. I don't know if Jerry will be with us. It's way past his bedtime. 8 o'clock start, Kings Mavs. We'll talk about it when it's all done over on YouTube and X. For Rhino in Sacktown, Grant Napear saying so long, everybody, and thanks for listening to Fox Sports Sacramento.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max